episode of WIC TV. It's a cross ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. Lara Talkin, thank you for the 17-month sub. Beautiful, beautiful. We're starting off strong, okay? Getting me money in right away. We love to see it. We have some more people who will be joining us. They said they're running a tad late, but I wanted to start on time to respect you, my dear audience, and talk about tonight's topic, which I think is quite important to discuss. Um, I've heard from people online and in my real life that have had issues when it comes to dating, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to those things. And they, on occasion, will get pulled into the OnlyFans scene where they are uh, spending thousands of dollars on these women for things such as girlfriend experiences, where the girl pretends to be their girlfriend and they pay for this. The question before us tonight is, are such practices exploitative towards men? Is it harming men? Is it harming the fabric of our society? And what, if anything, should be done about it? And we have some lovely guests here to talk about it, and we're going to give the mic first to Xerxes, actually, to start us off. I'll let him start, and then we'll see what the rest have to say, and as more people get in, we'll just pull them in. So, Xerxes, mic's yours. Take it away.
Interesting. Usually I'm last but not least. All right, let's frame this. So to be quite honest with you, I think today is going to be a little different for me because I actually think that I need my opposition to convince me truly how it is not exploitation. By definition, number one. But why are we even asking the question, is it, when we can look at the practices themselves before we can analyze even morally should these ladies operate this way? If we look at the business model some of them employ, some of them have management teams where they're not even actually the person speaking to said customer. As such, the premise that you get to speak to them has already been broken from go, just as soon as we engage. From that point, we can have the inbox loot crates, I call them, different reports of where a lady will just send a price tag on an image or video, and you just have to guess as a content creator if you even, I mean, sorry, as a customer, if you even want to purchase it. No other business, as far as I know, maybe perhaps a gotcha game works in that way. So we have to prey on the randomized chance that you might get what you desire, or you might not. As such, if you're taking advantage of someone's curiosity, you're taking advantage of someone's porn addiction. As such, some of these people who would be engaging here would also be porn addicted, more likely than not, if not close to it. Then from that practice alone, something off is going on. I find it interesting that that even occurs, and it seems to be fine from their purview and how they're not exploiting. So we can go into detail as we go on to more examples of what I would say is clear exploitation of young men on these forums. But just from there, just from the front, that sometimes you're not even talking to the woman. We have to deal with the fact that you may not even get the content that you want through mystery loot box screens. The fact that this exists only because a lot of young men are not in good, healthy relationships. To me, I need my opposition more to bring the heat. I don't think I need to say much. So,
Okay. Okay, well, thanks for being here. We'll get into it as we go.
mm,
Often topical. What are your thoughts here?
Sure. So I'll say on my stance on this is a little bit more nuanced than just a simple yes or no. I'll say that from the start, any kind of business that we talk about in general is going to be, by its very nature, exploitative. I think that this is no different. Every single business attempts to exploit the consumer in order to gain capital. I think that this business is no different. The same way gambling, smoking, drinking, bars, loot boxes, or even donating to your favorite streamer so that they notice your name in chat and they call you out and talk to you and say hi. It's a parasocial relationship just like any other. But the idea that this needs special attention or this is especially degrading to our society in a way that, say, a casino isn't, or in a way that, say, people who are donating just hundreds and hundreds of dollars to regular gaming streamers or politics streamers. I don't think that this is any different than that. I don't think that this is any more exploitative, any less exploitative. I think it is exactly the same. It's in the exact same vein, and I don't think that there's anything that we need to do that is like this is a specific, unique bad in our society. So my thought is, if we view this as something that is uniquely bad and needs to be regulated, or something needs to be done about it, then we should feel the same way about donating to Twitch streamers. We should feel the same way about going to have loot boxes or going to casinos. That all of these things should be more heavily regulated, or should be more discouraged in ways where we get rid of it as a society because it's harmful.
And before I let Kirby phone, Lara Talkin, thank you for the bits. Apparently, um, I'm just like an OnlyFans creator in
Mm-hmm.
that you are donating to me in the exact same way as an OnlyFans creator would get money, and there is no difference between these two things. Thank you. Kirby, go ahead.
And to the point that it's that you don't know that you're not messaging the girl. I think a lot of times it's pretty transparent when a lot of big creators. I don't go on the site, so it's hard. I needed my OnlyFans girls in the chat because I really don't know.
Hopefully they get
I
here
think
soon,
they're
right?
transparent about either if they actually are messaging you back, or if it's someone else. I could pull up Sad Kit Kat, for example. She will randomly respond to a man who's like, "I'm so horny for you." She'll say, "I want soup." That's clearly Julie. That's not. So I think it's transparent, but then you have to also go into the idea that like people will lie to you everywhere online. We always say you have to warn your kids to go on certain sites because people will lie. It's not like this is a nuanced thing that people are not being truthful. There's tons of websites where people aren't truthful. I played World of Warcraft when I was under 18. That's against their rules. Like it's ridiculous that we think that like OnlyFans is the only website that people are lying. Like
No, I guess to start the discussion off, and I'm kind of stalling for time till more people get here, but we'll do what we can. Thank you. $10 from Psychonaut. Wick
Well,
is
they
my
gave me
OnlyFans
enough.
daddy. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate you. But I guess to ask, and I'll start with asking Xerxes this because this has been brought up. Do you think that how is OnlyFans different from, say, just donating to a streamer? How is the relationship different from just a standard
But I think it's
paranormal
absolutely
relationship?
ridiculous comparison, actually.
I'm
If
curious
you
Explain.
why.
donate to a streamer, the idea is that you understand that there is a sacrifice of their time and a need of upkeep for them to continue to stream and be a performer for you, right? So one, it's a donation. Like you don't have to do that. There's no need to even engage with said streamer by donating. You can just chat. In fact, I've streamed a few times. No one ever has to send me a super chat. I just talk to them. If anyone shoots me any message anywhere, if I have the time, Twitter, Discord, wherever, I'll just talk to them. For some reason, though, there's a barrier to entry to communication with a lady on OnlyFans. Well, why is that? If I'm a person, you're a person. Why do I need to give you money to communicate with you and talk to you? So with the streamer, you understand they're sacrificing something, and because you're entertained, you want them to continue. You want to give reward to that sacrifice, right? If I'm here performing for you to give you a podcast you listen to, you say, hey, you need to eat some food. Here's some money so you can eat some food. Hey, you need to keep the lights on. Here's some money. I'm going to try to help you keep the lights on. That's not really the same with with pornography or on OnlyFans. It's like the idea uh, the idea originally, at least Inception, was that like you're gonna be able to engage specifically with said lady, right? That's why it's OnlyFans. It's like it's a hub to get direct contact with that woman, whom originally how a lot of it used to be was like a performer. Like when it came to porn stars, a lot of people don't recognize that like normal to do average women wouldn't be like faceless creators, or they wouldn't just be people you talk to. They would be, again, in like Bang Bros, they would be whatever different porn companies. I can't remember on the top of my head. So the idea of like some normal chick from down the street also being on OnlyFans, that's a new, unique, novel thing. But the problem and the exploitation comes with, why is it that we even need to give money to speak to normal, everyday, average ladies and people?
You
Why are
don't.
we even in this business, right?
Before we respond to that, as people trickle in, I want to get their thoughts, introduce them again. Apologies to my audience, as we they're trickling in as we get them. We had a full house. We'll do our best. Cohort, can you just kind of give us a brief kind of description of your thoughts on the question at hand. Is OnlyFans exploiting men in a way that is substantively different than, say, any other streamer, like a Twitch streamer or a YouTube streamer or podcast host, right? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. Mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Can
We
y'all
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
Up a little bit.
Yeah,
Might
volume's
need
good.
to
All
turn
right.
it up a little bit, but we can hear you.
Yeah.
That I can do. So let me know if I do need to do that. But yeah, no, I would say yes, absolutely. And of course, I guess we're gonna expand on that throughout the panel. But yeah,
Yeah, well, we are in that place as more people come on. I'll drag them in, but yeah, can you expand on that? Maybe we can let Kirby and often topical maybe address your thoughts
Well, yeah,
yeah.
address mine.
and
Oh,
Kimberly
you
too.
already went. Well, so I think um, there's a very obvious kind of deficit that needs to be at present for the man, and it's not a deficit that's exactly the same as like what you might get from watching a companion stream like a mukbanger or a streamer where you're still doing something parasocial, which I also am not a huge fan of, to be honest with you, but that's a separate topic. But the romantic deficit, exploiting that is something that's obviously happening in the girlfriend experience, and I think because of that, the kind of power balance that's at play there, and what the man is desiring that he can never get in full because it is a simulation rather than a real thing. There's going to be a lot of inherent pain and hardship for the man. But for the record, I also think this is exploiting the woman, probably in a more major way because she is being turned into a commodity, and we're pretending that you can package her essence, her femininity, into an experience that can be felt to any sufficient level over the internet. That's not even that I just think it's the man. I think both of them are being exploited in a really goofy and kind of nasty way. But yeah, absolutely. That's kind of where I stand with it.
What do you guys think?
I think it's funny that we keep honing in on the messaging and then like the girlfriend experience portion. They are selling porn pretty much. Most of the women on OnlyFans, they're selling like straight up porn. You're paying for porn. You're not paying for the girlfriend experience. I'm so sorry that's what you think most men are paying for. They're not. They're paying to see these girls nude or in lingerie.
Well,
Like,
I was going off of
if
the
I may
prompt. I
ask,
never said that, for the record. I
yeah,
never said that's what
but
was
here's the
what
thing. Here's the thing. It might be the case that there are definitely some fans who come and they just purchase, their clips and leave. But there are typically some of the bigger spenders who are definitely trying to create some type of relationship with the
Okay,
woman over a period of
so
time. Like they're the ones that the chatters. I was watching a video researching it because there's actually videos on YouTube of how to be an OnlyFans chatter, where they want to create an actual long-term relationship with these big spenders so they can continue to spend. It's right on
but
the
then
chin,
so
right?
is this any
So
different than like having a sugar daddy? Like, no, it's not. It's like
I would say
it's
absolutely it is.
they
Yes.
both benefit. One gets money and one gets attention. Like,
Well, here's the difference. I don't think they both benefit. I don't even think even in the sugar daddy situation they both benefit. But it's like if one is a relationship that can never actually be like fruitful or return what is a relationship
Cersei,
is
how do you
supposed
feel
to
about
be,
sugar daddies? You should probably,
then
do you like those? Do you think
so
that's a
I don't
good?
like them either. Yeah, I don't think
Okay,
sugar
all
daddies are
right then.
good
Let's start
to
there.
begin with.
Let's
So
actually start there.
so they're kind of the same thing. But even then, like if a real life like sugar daddy, they're still engaging sexually, and that would just more be prostitution directly. But here we have prostitution indirectly and virtually, where there just never is a true fulfillment or return. Like an escort, her purpose technically is really kind of to just be there and look pretty. Technically, escorts are used as a euphemism for prostitutes, but technically they're not. They don't have to be, or they're not supposed to be. So even in that situation, it's not the nicest thing to be arm candy, but it is different than like a a fake relationship with a person that's not said person, taking money from you, right? Yeah,
so
I don't know. I need a
but
counter
you're
argument.
saying
How,
not
how is
said
that not
person. What if it
exploitative?
is the said person? What if it is the people? Is
So,
that okay?
so if we move forward, right? So we assume that it is said person, and they are indeed actually engaging with the individual, the defendant, right? The relationship still cannot return fruitfully, right? There's still an imbalance here, right? Where one person is draining resources to give to another person who does not care about them and has no intention of even respecting them just as a normal human being, right? One question that I think is always interesting to ask is, would you date a fan? And you find that very many of the OnlyFans ladies say, I could never date a fan. Well, hold on. If you're a human and he's a human, what splits the difference? Why could you not date this person who's facilitating your life? Would that not just be what your husband would do? Would that not just be what your boyfriend would do? What is it? What is the thing that is splitting the difference between this quote unquote fan and any boyfriend you would like,
Okay.
any
I
husband you
wanna.
would have, any actual relationship of love, care, and tenderness?
Yeah, I
So
wanna. I
I
wanna.
want a response. I want them. I
Okay.
want the heat.
Give a response, but I do want to introduce Julie when I can. So yeah, respond to him, and then I'll get Julie in there. Go ahead. What do you? Go ahead. Anyone.
Anyone
Go
have a
ahead.
response?
Did I
I
cook?
guess I do. I have like a
Oh, sorry.
So
I thought she was introducing. I was so distracted.
Oh,
by
I'm Julie. Whatever. Hello.
Okay, go ahead.
I
talk to
have
him.
like a experience of that like exact thing. I met a guy on Tinder, and he I guess found my social media and then went and found my OnlyFans and started messaging me on OnlyFans. And then he didn't tell me it was him, and I found out like through matching tattoos or whatever. And I was like, I explained, if you're gonna be on my OnlyFans, I don't really want to talk to you on Tinder because you being on my OnlyFans would changes the relationship dynamic. Like if you're
Wow.
talking to me, because if you're like if I'm gonna date someone, I don't want our relationship to start off inherently sexual. Like if
Why?
your first conversation to me is I want a nut on your face, I'm like, you might not be the one for me.
Ain't
Why?
no way, dog.
It's uncomfortable. It's weird. It's like why like if you're pursuing
If a
something
stranger
that's
said it and gave
meaningful.
you money, you'd
Hold
be
on,
fine
hold
with
on.
it. Like,
If you're
okay, go ahead.
pursuing something meaningful with me, I don't want it to start off with you make me horny. I feel like
Why?
that's
If I engage,
Wait. No,
I
hey,
want
hey,
to
I
sleep.
got some. What is it about? What is it about sex that makes it a bad
Yeah,
opening starter?
he cut to it. I was gonna get there, but go ahead.
for me personally, if I'm gonna be like intimate with someone, I know this sounds stupid because I have an OnlyFans, but I don't do like nudes or like sexting or anything on it. But if I'm gonna be intimate with someone, it has to be someone that I actually care about and that I feel like really cares about me. So if you come
Mm.
in being sexual right away, it turns me off because I'm like, I don't know you like that.
That makes sense. That makes a
But
lot
this
of
is
sense.
so. Here's the thing. Let's say I accept that wholesale. It would still be to the point I was making earlier, right? You've created a discrepancy between this fan and any man you'd actually want to be with. Here's the thing. Here's what's interesting. This horny fan could still be a good person. He could still have a lot of great qualities, but you just straight disconnect any degree of actual intimacy or relationship with them. If you know that that is what he wants and that's why he picked you specifically to engage with, how are you not exploiting his desire?
We're gonna
How are
get
you
to that in a
not doing
second,
that?
and I want to get other people in on this conversation. To be clear, Zetsway, thank you for the 5 subs. I'm exploiting you today, and Aaron Gray also exploiting you. Thank you for the membership.
look
on
at
the
them
YouTube.
paying for
I appreciate
attention.
it, yeah. Exactly.
That's
You little
yeah.
pay
But no,
pigs.
that's
That's what
I'll
they
just
are.
ask you guys correct. I'll ask you directly, Julie. How are you not exploiting your fans?
In some ways, I probably am, but I need to make money. So Wick is exploiting all of us right now. So
No, I
You
don't.
think that's yeah,
I
hold on.
disagree.
Cersei,
I don't
Cersei,
agree. I'm
hold
being
on,
exp-
hold on. Cersei, you gotta let other people in. You gotta let other people in. We gotta have a conversation here because the question becomes like, do you think that what I do is equivalent to what a majority of people on OnlyFans do?
Yes,
Not at all.
absolutely.
You have to cook. Go ahead and cook.
Oh my
Yeah, I will.
God.
Okay, so I will. The question was asked a little bit earlier when I brought this up. They said, the difference is, you can be in public chat rooms with streamers, and you don't have to pay to talk to them. You don't have to pay to talk to a lot of these girls either. They got Twitters. You can message them on Twitter. A lot of them are camming. You can be in those chat rooms in the cam sites. You don't have to pay to talk to them. You have a better chance of being noticed if you're paying. The same way that maybe I don't see chatters in the chat if my chat's going fast. Look at
So you're saying
if
if
you're
you're
in.
a customer,
Well, let me
they're
finish
gonna
talking and I'll tell you. If you are in like, let's say a Vosh chat or you're in a Hassan chat, what are the odds that he's going to read your message? Probably pretty small. But what are the odds he's going to read your message if you donate and you pay some money? It's the exact same with OnlyFans girls. It's the exact same thing. You can talk to them in public places. You can talk to them in public spaces, reach out. Maybe they'll talk to you. Maybe they won't. That's part
You
of
gonna
just
explain how
talking
Wick
in
and
public.
OnlyFans are the same thing?
What's
Can you
that?
answer that? Can you explain how Wick and OnlyFans are the same?
Because
technically
you are
both,
providing a
it's just one thing.
parasocial relationship to the chatters, and you are
That's what Wick is
acknowledging
doing
them
right now. He's providing this panel is a parasocial relationship. You think it's
every
the same?
single time that you pay to talk to a streamer or to have your message noticed by a streamer. That is exactly the same as when you are
But let me-
paying an OnlyFans girl
No,
to notice your
hold on.
message and talk
Ask
to
Ken
you.
No. He gonna box with me real quick. So that's not true. That's absolutely not true. It's
Okay.
fundamentally.
Tell me
not
how.
true. So if I'm watching a political panel or
Mhm.
panel of any kind, and I decide to send a message to have it TTS or be referenced on the stream, I'm not engaging in a parasocial relationship with the panelist, the host, or anyone else present. That is not the
I'd be like,
same
oh,
thing
the
as
You are
inside.
asking.
simulating any form of a romantic, platonic or non-platonic relationship, direct messaging someone, right? Paying for the service. That is not the same thing. If I
You
if I
are
say if I send him a $5 chat and it says great stream Wick, here's a question for Julie. I did not just engage in a parasocial relationship.
you are
with Wick.
paying.
I have no idea that I'm in any kind of relationship with him.
You are paying for attention, is what you are doing. You can ask that question in chat. You can spam the question in chat. I've seen Wick grab questions out of chat plenty of times that weren't in super chats. You don't have to pay.
When you buy
But here's the
porn,
issue,
when you
though.
buy
Like,
porn, it's the same as TTSing. You're paying for attention. That's what you're saying.
You're
Porn
asking.
is
It's a completely different thing than if I'm paying to message somebody. You're asking if I buy porn? No, that's the same as buying a movie. It's no different there.
okay.
I'm
So
not expecting to be noticed when I buy a video.
when you message a girl within the girlfriend experience, that is the same thing as telling Wick he's doing a good stream.
If I'm paying for
These
it,
two things are the same thing.
if you're paying for it, yeah. Do
So
you
what
think?
you've done is
Do you think
you've
these?
identified a
Hold
common
on,
thread.
hold
You
on. Do you think
you
that
identified
these?
a common thread.
Do you think
Go
that
ahead.
these men who pay for the girlfriend experience are so helpless and so stupid that they genuinely believe that this is something that's going to go somewhere, or do they think that they
yeah.
are paying for?
Unfortunately, I'm far too
Come on.
experienced debating to allow you to pivot. First, you're going to either
Also, yeah.
back off the idea that these things are the same thing because they're not. We're not going to conflate, or you can just hold on to that stupid idea. Everyone heard you say it, and then we can move on to the next thing, right?
No, they
But
are
I'm not gonna let you pivot.
I'm
to,
not
like,
pivoting.
Act like you didn't just say
You're
that
trying to say that
TTSing
this
to a
is
streamer.
unique, that this one thing is unique. What I'm saying is that these things, when we're talking about messaging these girls and paying to message them and paying to talk with them, it is no different. It might be different in the amount of money that's being spent, for sure.
This is foolish. Can I come in? We need to
In
clear
a
something up.
minute, in a
If you
minute.
can.
Oh, we need to clear
I
something
promise.
up here.
Yeah, but we gotta
right?
get Kirby feet. Kirby's sitting here. She's waiting so
She's
patiently.
having a
to
great
have some
time,
stuff to
bro.
say.
Look at no,
She's
she's loving it.
Julie waiting so patiently to have something to say. Xerxes, I promise
might
you
need a
we'll get you
fourth.
a chance to talk, right? But I want to give a chance to the other people to have their say before we get to you. Is that okay?
I think someone's waiting in backstage, by the way.
I don't know. Again,
That's someone not invited.
I don't think
Isn't
that's
that-
Cassie.
Oh, it's
Until
not?
Cassie gets here, the
No.
randos don't get in.
Oh, I thought it was.
Sorry.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like so Kirby, Julie, you're hearing the arguments. Is messaging me the same as when
I'm hearing the arguments, but I think this is kind of irrelevant to the whole debate in general. Like, I think the whole messaging thing, I think the comparison of Twitch, all of this is kind of irrelevant. The whole point is if it's taking advantage of men, right? I was looking at percentages and stuff like that of users, and it says like 43% are like are women. 43% of like subscribers are still women. So it's like, what? So we're taking advantage of the women and men? Like, well, the debate is only around men for some reason, even though, like, I looked up that 2% of women, 18 to 45, are also on OnlyFans. That's not a huge margin. That's not crazy. We've always had porn. All the people who started the company, all the investors, all the board of directors, they're majority men. So if we want to go and take a step further, men are still taking advantage of this.
Well, a
We
small
go a
percentage
higher
of men
level,
profiting.
it's still men
doesn't-
are profiting. Then the women
Yeah,
creators are
but
profiting.
men aren't a
and then-
monolith, though. That's the issue, though, right? So it's like, yeah, sure, it might be a small percent of men who oversee all of that get a higher percentage. Obviously the owners of OnlyFans might be a male, but everyone underneath that, the larger percentage of just average to do guys that aren't having good relationships, say even with their wife, as well. So they're not included in that
Don't you
in
think
that
it's
profiteer.
healthier that they're talking to like a bot pretty much rather than
Not at
actually
all.
going
No.
out and cheating on their wives?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think I think it would still indicate there's an issue with that relationship altogether. They shouldn't be there to begin with. But the fact remains
Of
that
course,
if
they
you're
shouldn't
a
be there to begin
lady
with, but don't you think it's
and
healthier
a
than
man,
actually actively going out and cheating? Like, if you can pretend
mm,
message a girl and get
I
like
don't
a
like the term healthier. Is it less egregious? Sure. Healthier?
You're not supposed to be
I don't
sublimating
want to
that
add health to
behavior.
it.
You
Yeah,
shouldn't be
exactly. I
engaging
don't
in it at all.
Well, it's just
precisely.
like
So I don't want
it's
to
just
use
like
the term
porn.
health.
It's like
Um,
it's to me, OnlyFans is
mhm.
exactly like porn, but just the
But it
girls get a
isn't.
little more power. There's a little more
No,
power in the women's hands.
but here's the reason why it can't be. For those of y'all who weren't here earlier, obviously you're here, Kirby, but a lot of people don't factor in the difference of how modernity has made porn and OnlyFans in this regard. Originally, like a porn star was a woman totally disconnected that was an actor. It was just a film, right? It was literally, pornographic film. Even if the acting is terrible, these are all fictional scenarios. This doesn't happen. All the porn plots and whatnot we make fun of because it's just there to stimulate. But with OnlyFans, it's you have the faceless real life create like they're just some college girl, right? They're just some chick there. They're a real person, supposedly for the most part, that is actually trying to talk to and speak to lots of different males. And so it's not quite the same thing when you're actually engaging with the individual and trying to foster some type of
Hmm.
rapport, some type of
Hey,
relationship.
Kay in my chat says this, and I think it's an interesting comment from a woman. Kay says, I'd rather be cheated on with a real human than a bot. It would be far worse to be cheated on with a bot. And at least a man would have some real connection and a chance for something real. It's
Wait,
interesting.
but that means you want the man to leave you.
Disagree.
What the hell?
uh,
I
No,
mean, if
no.
he's cheating on
maybe
you,
you
I
would rather,
So
but
so
yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
so this would actually be a really good thing to be offended by because it means you would recognize that emotional cheating, a man emotionally cheating on you with a bot, means that there is something he's getting from that bot, and there's no physical connection. There can't be. There's something emotional, maybe intellectual, that he's getting from that bot that he's not getting from you, and that
And you
should
could
be
fix it and change
insulting.
it. That's
Well,
why.
it should be insulting to you. You should be like, what? Like,
Uh,
why would
I
he?
would be insulted more if he fucked someone else. Straight up.
I understand that.
I
No, to
would be
be
pissed.
fair,
I don't understand that. And I can explain why. I'm happy to explain why. If so,
Mhm.
all of these things are horrible to do. You shouldn't do them, right? But if a man is satisfying the physical urge, right, which is like he gets horny, right? He steps out, right? That's horrible. The idea that a man is so dissatisfied by interacting with you emotionally and intellectually that he has to seek out Chat GPT. That's that you should.
It's
That's like
because
a different level of.
People,
it's
I would be
sometimes a
more.
reflection of yourself too.
Well, I would be more pissed off if you went and fucked someone else because I'm literally right here. Why aren't you fucking me? If you just like
fair.
aren't getting
I think
emotional,
that's
whatever
a
for
good point.
me, we just aren't compatible. Whatever. Go be emotionally compatible with someone else. If you go out of your way to fuck another human being, ooh,
Well, not only that, you obviously,
ooh.
at least it depends on the culture, right? Because Japan actually doesn't see prostitutions or going to sleep with prostitute as cheating, or because it's the emotional attachment that they say is cheating. So, like for us in the U.S., culturally, if you go out of your way and go fuck someone else, like you really have no love for your partner in my eyes. Like you're thinking about the consequences, potential consequences of what your partner's going to go through, and you're okay with that.
I guess to kind of like steer the conversation a little, right?
Mhm.
This is to Julie, often topical, and to Kirby. So that kind of side of things. Do you? And I'll get to super chats soon. Don't worry, keep them coming. We'll ask these ladies and these gentlemen.
I think I
any
heard my
question you
name.
want, just super chat. But here's a question I have for you. Do you not see how the argument could be made that preying on a man's loneliness as a man's separation is significantly worse than, say, a gotcha game, right? Trying to just, get the loot box neurons firing in their head. Don't you see how it might be a little bit more socially damaging to try to, instead of men going and talking to women in real life, they substitute OnlyFans for that, right? So it's not that they're cheating, it's that they could be talking to women in real life, but why
Well,
when they could just pay for it?
so I heard about that sentiment for Twitch as well. An interesting point that a lot of people, especially in this is a little bit niche, but in like rural parts of China, there's men overpopulating the women. So then they'll go on Twitch streams, have an emotional connection with all these like women online because they literally don't have the option to go out and like socialize with women. So they like the connection, even though they know it's meaningless and nothing will actually ever happen. They like we're just social creatures as humans. So like they like at least the chatting, or even if it's a bot, they don't care.
What's
So you have a lot of examples
So-
like in military and
Yeah, I'll say
small towns.
to add to that, we've seen social ostracism. God, I can't say that word. Ostriches. Holy crap! You know what word I'm trying to say?
Oh, we know what you mean.
Yeah. Holy crap! I can't get that word out. But
social isolation, perhaps.
sure, let's go with that instead. Yeah, we've seen social isolation on the rise in general as the proliferation of the internet has continued to expand. I don't think that this is a unique problem to OnlyFans or a unique problem to Twitch. We as a people are are sort of flocking more to the internet than to in person social interactions. And I think that the pandemic then only sort of supercharge that in a way where now get-togethers don't happen anymore. In general, social gatherings don't happen the way that they used to, or in the abundance that they used to. I don't think to say that this is a unique problem to OnlyFans. I'd find that really disingenuous, because I think that this is an issue that's affecting everybody in every aspect of society.
Now let me give you that. Let me give you that wholesale. Let me ask you a question then. If it's affecting everyone, that would also include young ladies, right? So why are the men having to pay any degree of money to interact with any woman if there are other women over here that they could also interact with?
Because they choose to.
Yeah, they're just not attracted to those women.
So let's actually have a discussion and conversation where we think critically.
Why do you think it is?
Evidently, they choose to.
Why do you think they're choosing to?
Why? I need you to tell me why. Right?
No, you're the one who's saying that it's like this unique issue. I'm saying they happen to.
Exactly. So you say that it is not a unique issue. I'm trying to highlight how it is a unique issue. You need to defend how this is all the same, right?
The same way.
It's easier. Why are we debating in person? You know why? Because it's easier to be online.
But that okay. So
you guys give me enough money and I'll set up a debate panel in person. But I
think there's an issue where we keep on conflating things that don't match up well, and obviously, whenever people do this, it's for their own strategic benefit. And I hear it. Sometimes I'll let it go, but sometimes I can't because I know it's going to be foundational. Mm-hmm. Okay, some of these things are different. They have different qualities, different properties that needs to be recognized. It's the nature of the question only exists because we're recognizing there's a possible different angle, something provocative, something more interesting about the girlfriend experience, or even if it was just OnlyFans in general, which it'd still be something we could talk about, right? So I just think, okay.
When you keep saying girlfriend experience, what do you mean? What does that entail?
Well, I could tell you.
Yeah. Maybe I'll
you
let.
Have experience with the girlfriend experience?
I'll let him tell his definition. What I'm trying to say is whenever you communicate online, there is something being lost, similar to when you take an audio file and you convert it to a file type that downgrades it, right? And sometimes that's okay, and we're okay with that, that sacrifice, right? I do think that there's something interesting that happens when you simulate romantic relationships, when you sort of position yourself as a stand-in for the real thing, right, for a man. I think there are dangerous things that happen for him, and possibly dangerous, sort of guaranteed dangerous things that happen for him, and then possibly dangerous things that happen for the woman, right?
You heard of
name one of those things? Just in the interest of discussion, you said there are dangerous things that happen for men. Mm-hmm. Name one, and maybe we could discuss it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think over time, engaging enough in that proxy relationship where you cannot be rejected because you're paying, where you're not getting the full experience of the person because you're paying, you're getting a curated experience, right? And there is no genuine desire being felt, genuine care, no give and take, all the things that come with a relationship that make it what it is, right? Whether it's monogamous or poly, there's things that come with relationships, right? A lot of that is not going to be present. It can't be, just for the fact that you're paying, right? And I think over time, these men that engage in this behavior, they find the way that they engage with women, the way that they view relationships, and the extent to which they learn to depend on the paid ones I think it has a detrimental effect, right? They become more reliant because it's easier. It is easier comparatively, right? To just hand someone $100 and they're with you for an hour, two, a week, whatever the arrangement is, right? Like that's easier than having to go out and foster and build an actual, two-way investment, right? So, but it's not the same thing, and you'll always feel that it's not the same thing. And I think that to me builds over time resentment, sorrow, pain, unrequited love. I think that's also why a lot of times these men
Why is
will
he
eventually
wrong?
find
Yeah.
because
Yeah, no.
well, eventually these men will find that one woman that they wish they could be more with, which is natural. It's very human, and they cannot be because this is a monetary exchange, right? And the pain they will feel in that moment is going to be difficult to quantify.
Have
Right?
you heard of host clubs?
I have, yes.
So this isn't like, again, this is not a new thing.
Explain it for my
I
audience.
think those are bad too.
So
Explain it
host
for my
clubs
audience.
originated in Japan in like the 1960s, right? Pretty much you go in, you pay for the boyfriend experience. So they pick extra attractive Japanese dudes. You're in Japan and you go in to have the whole boyfriend experience. They'll say you're beautiful. They'll pour you drinks, et cetera, right? But you're paying for that experience. That's what you want. You know it's not real. Some people, just like parasocials, just like Twitch, just like anything, some people will be like, I can take this further. I can actually date that person. When the majority of the times you can't. They're doing a character. They're doing a bit, and that's the same with OnlyFans girls. This isn't, again, this is not a new concept. This has always happened. You can even say that with prostitutes. I'm sure there's many men over the years who will be like, this prostitute actually likes me. I can change her. But it doesn't happen. They're using them. That's why it's crazy that we're creating a safer space because it's online. So it's harder to stalk the girl, harder to harass her to get her to stay with you. It's a safer space for the women, and then the men, have
Why
a little
should
more.
they engage if it's dangerous though? Doesn't that betray an issue here for
But it's
both the male and the female? Why would you court someone that you think is dangerous to begin with? Why? How is that not exploiting a
no.
dangerous person because you
You're
think you can get
misunderstanding what I
something?
just said. It can be dangerous. Like if you're a prostitute, that can be very dangerous. Men can take advantage of you. Men can do a lot of things to you, right? But creating this barrier, this wall with the online space, you're doing sex work, but with this barrier, they don't know where you live necessarily. I don't know
They
who
could
releases
find
their
it.
info.
They could track you.
They could
overall,
technically, yeah, but
I don't
that's
think
like
anyone
even
would
being in
argue
the
it's not.
online space.
I don't think anybody would argue otherwise. It is absolutely safer for
No,
the
no,
woman.
no.
It's
But the
absolutely
reason, no,
off
no, I
limits.
want to hammer in on this point, and the reason why is because if you recognize that you are courting danger, or this is some barrier to prevent you from danger, you are suggesting that there is an issue with sex work, just in principle and function. The question
I think
is,
there's an
if you understand
issue
there's an issue in danger,
with
why are
sex work.
we
I would
why
say
are
there's
we
an issue
courting
with
men like
human
this?
nature. Human nature. There's gonna always be a crazy who's just randomly parasocial. This has happened to everyone. Me and Julie, for example, we were in Texas and some random guy showed up. He was trying to find and meet us, even though we told him, "Do not turn around. Stop trying to find us." Like this just happens. It's just like
So
part of.
it wouldn't be randomly okay. It wouldn't be randomly
also wouldn't be
parasocial,
random.
right? So if you're gonna recognize the inherent dangers in person prostitution or something, proxy, quasi, OnlyFans, whatever the thing is, right? Then let's take that the whole way. So one of the inherent dangers is that you are pretending to some extent, often, and this is one thing I won't be gaslit on is that this happens because I know it does because I did a little research, I paid attention, right? I've seen how these models conduct themselves on Twitter. I've seen how they conduct themselves in threads. I've seen how they talk to their either current fans or people they're hoping to funnel in, and they will say anything, deeply emotional stuff if it means getting another man on board. So, but I was gonna get to that later when we kind of get more to the specific, conduct and everything. But
Can
we
you
can
give
open it
me an
up now
example
too.
of what's deeply emotional?
Yeah, so trying to find niche topics that are being discussed on social media and trying to like horn your way in, even pretending like you care, right? When it's very obvious that you there's no history of you ever caring about this topic,
Can I
right?
give you an
And you're
example?
I will.
if you have a better one, that's fine too.
Yeah, I have an
This is one that
example.
I
I'm
saw
gonna say
recently.
something after.
And I want to know, and I'll give it to you, Julie, because I'm curious. Julie.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, if you're talking about like the larger OnlyFans creators, like they're managed and marketed by like teams and companies. Like, if you're seeing a large OnlyFans creator who's like targeting men or whatever. That's not her. That's her
No, I'm
marketing
not.
team doing
I'm
that.
not.
For
It's
her.
actually more
But
important
just
that I'm
let
not. I'm
wait,
talking about a
yeah.
regular woman who wants to be able to get to the top percentile like all of you do and realizes that the best way to do that is not
Yeah.
going to be just
All of you
spamming
do.
free, 5% off. You can take it a step further and you can just do the full parasocial thing. It's not
I
illegal to
saw
do that. It doesn't
okay,
cost
I
you any
saw an
extra money.
OnlyFans creator. I don't remember her name, right? And I don't know if it was her or her team, but whoever did this, I'll just say this before I get this, is a scumfuck. I don't care.
Oh.
Some dude made a thread about how he was feeling suicidal. He was lonely. His wife had left him. He lost the kids. He had nothing.
And she said, "You have my
Hey,
OnlyFans."
you could come to my OnlyFans and I could help you feel better.
I'm gonna be
No,
honest. That was
man,
probably a
no, no,
marketing
no, no,
thing.
no, no.
Well, exactly. But either way,
Well,
how's
okay,
that not
yeah.
exploiting?
So let's say this about that. I will
It's still
say,
exploitative, but I don't think it's specifically the girl. I think it's the marketing team's trying to target people to get people. Like I even get
Wait,
messages.
can we just acknowledge? Can we just acknowledge that that's like
It's
crosses
disgusting.
a
No,
line?
wait, no,
Yeah,
wait,
I
wait,
agree.
wait,
You
hold
would've
on,
given
wait,
the ghost then.
wait, no, we
Dude,
don't.
that's
Even, you don't
actually
even
a
have
sick
to.
marketing
You don't even,
tactic.
it's actually really interesting. So even if it is the marketing team, why did the marketing team choose that tactic?
Because that gets you the most money. They don't care.
Okay.
They want money.
No.
It's a
But we're not
business.
even. But what? But wait. So that gets them the most money. So we're talking about the girlfriend experience. We're kind of talking about OnlyFans.
But this
right, all
goes
this stuff.
into
So
you
like,
weren't here for the original what they were what Often was saying, but Often was comparing it to business, any other business. It's like
But I
they want
I
to
needed to
raise
cook
the
on
most
that
money.
anyway. I need to cook
yeah.
on that anyway
So
because
I
here's
don't. I don't. Yeah. Go ahead.
if you'd let me, right? There's
Yeah.
a huge issue here with like people think that businesses simply exist to exploit. It's that some businesses exploit, some businesses have needs and solutions. For example, if you need milk, you're not being exploited if you go to Walmart.
I'm not talking
and you
about a grocery
purchase
store.
the
I'm
milk,
talking about
right?
a casino.
So,
Should they not
okay,
exist?
So no, no,
It
So
should
right,
Oh,
no,
no,
milk
they should
okay.
companies.
not
I'm sorry to
exist.
Won't
competition
somebody
or-
please
it's very
think of the
easy.
poor,
If they can
poor,
charge
poor
$10 for
people
their
who
milk, they
can't
will.
handle
If they can.
themselves at
There's
the
too much
detriment of the
competition.
rest of us who are adults and know how to handle ourselves?
I think.
Okay,
So I
okay.
think.
Even if that be
This.
the
So this
case,
eventually gets at blown back out into a more larger conversation of. Okay, because the reason why casinos should not exist is they are the absolute definition of predatory.
yeah,
The house is preying on you. It is designed to the point of
every element.
psychological
Yes.
manipulation. The smells, the sounds, the room design. It is all meant to eventually, if
Mhm.
they can, get you addicted. In fact, if they could get you definitively addicted, they would. They're mad that the percentage isn't higher. Now, here's the thing.
You know what else they are?
Gambling addicts have the highest suicide rate. If you educate yourself on these things, you find no reason to keep casinos.
You know what else
Exactly.
they are?
Absolutely
Fun.
none.
They're fun.
But
They're
there
a
is
lot of
some-
fun.
Okay,
They're
that's
fun.
the problem.
I
Is
enjoy
there
it.
a
I've
world-
gone,
is there
and
a
I'm
world-
just fine.
Often,
Are there
let me
pe-
ask you a question.
Well, my
let me
point
ask
is,
you a question.
Stop. Let off topic go. So
Okay.
explain why you're okay with this predatory practice.
yeah, I'm okay with this predatory practice the same way that I'm okay with any other business engaging in predatory practices. All of them will, especially
Hold
these
on,
ones
do not
that do
think
not.
there's a difference.
Well,
Hold
I'll
on,
finish.
you
Yeah,
keep
I
saying
will.
that they're the
I will
same.
say
Let
the
me- no,
difference.
stop,
No, I was
okay,
about to
give me
say
a second.
exactly the difference of what you were
Give me
going to
a
ask.
second, give me a second,
Okay.
Give me a second. Then you can go. I promise you, I'll give you the mic. And you can go, and I will make sure you're uninterrupted as far as I can. Right. So here's the deal, right? Like you keep like, and this is the frustrating part of this is like, well, yes, there is some exploitation, quote unquote, involved in pretty much any industry, but at least when it comes to casinos, they have it down in a way that is far different and far more predatory than, say, Walmart or
I agree.
say a normal streamer. Can we at least agree with that?
We've never disagreed on that. At least I have not disagreed on that one time
Go ahead.
through this whole thing.
Technically, your
My-
premise is that it's the same.
No, let
so-
him- let him-
No, my premise is that that OnlyFans models or any other business like this, these things that are more leisure sort of products, I suppose, or leisure sort of categories rather than necessity categories. I wouldn't say that OnlyFans is exactly the same as a grocery store. That'd be ridiculous. But what I'm saying is that OnlyFans is exactly the same as a casino, is exactly the same as a loot box, is exactly the same as video games, is exactly the same as a Twitch streamer. In all of these things where we are, it is a business that is trying to gather gather clients together to pay for something that they don't need, that they can have fun with, that they can enjoy. There are people who engage with it responsibly, and there are people who engage with it irresponsibly. My point is, just because there are people who engage with it irresponsibly does not mean that it needs to go away or needs to be, sort of stifled at the
But the argument isn't
I
it needs to
can't-
be
at the
stifled. It's
detriment of the
only
people
because
who
there's
do
some people. Yeah, but that isn't the
engage
argument.
with these
But even
things
then, well, hold on.
responsibly.
We cannot. We need to break down the argument. I think your premise
Yeah.
is fundamentally flawed. That these
Mhm.
are the same thing. That a Twitch streamer is the same thing as an individual who's participating in OnlyFans. It's not. The presentation of someone on Twitch is different than the presentation than someone on OnlyFans. How they
Yeah, the
market it,
presentation
what they
is you're
say,
paying
the
to
actual
see a
relationship
girl
is
naked.
different. But no, it's deeper than that, though. Once again, like I keep on
It's not
trying
deep.
to.
It's not deep. Everyone
it
knows who
is
goes on
very deep.
OnlyFans.
It
When
is
you
very
see a
deep.
girl with OnlyFans, what do you think?
Mhm.
You go to her page, you
Mhm.
pay for it, you see her naked. Like,
Mhm.
there
And
you
you
go.
talk to her. You don't. No, you
No,
talk to her.
that
You
the
try to
premise of
foster her
OnlyFans is to
relationship
talk to
with
her.
her.
That's just a
That
perk.
is the premise. No, you're wrong.
So-
The
so
entire
how-
function and premise
Do you have a
originally was to
percentile?
engage with them. That was
Kirby-
the entire function
Kirby, do
of
you
the
have beef
website.
with the prompt itself?
Okay,
If so, you wanna
I know
talk to
we
Wiz.
got Cassie here. Cassie needs to get in. I wanna make sure she gets a chance. I know we're deep into the weeds here, but Cassie, thanks for
So
coming.
sorry I'm late, guys.
It's okay.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well,
Appreciate
here you are. Jump on in. I want to give you the chance. OnlyFans,
Awesome.
is it exploiting men?
Yeah, yes and no.
I think you might be
there
connected
is
to
a
your
way-
headphone mic.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Oh.
Let me.
And
microphone's
also,
just
someone
really
has
shitty. Give me
paid me
just a minute.
$50 in order to remove my shirt, and I will. So go ahead.
Let's
Oh.
go!
In order to do
Yes!
what? He's gonna change his
Thank
shit?
you,
Wick OnlyFans one.
W Donator.
This is no different, guys. This is no different. This is no different. Someone's paying Wick. He's giving them attention, and he's doing what they want him to do. This is no different, though,
And he's
guys.
taking off
This is
clothes.
totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. Not the same
So-
thing at all. Not the same
For
thing at
For
all.
the record,
I pay
this
you
would,
extra
this
to
would be a
message you
complete
privately?
context
Okay.
switch. I don't know if you're joking or if you're smart enough to know that, but
Whoa.
just in case you're not,
Hmm?
we've now
Unfortunately, this is the
switched
mic I have.
context.
This is the Yeti. The Yeti has just been dropped. If you can see, there's a dent in it. I'm gonna sound a little bit
Okay.
Scuffed.
It's
That's
It's
okay.
all good. We
God
can
damn.
understand.
Yep.
I still
But,
think that your premise is foolish. Go ahead, Mike.
So
good.
I think what Wick did is no more exploitative than OnlyFans. And it's like the context of it, right? Because like a YouTuber can make a thumbnail or characterize someone in a way that is exploitative in the same way an OnlyFans model could lead someone on, but if it's done in a very like transparent, like this is what you're getting kind of way, I don't see it as exploitative.
But this is the issue. We're pretending that they literally say, "Hey, I am an actor. This is a scene. When you speak to me and you message me, I'm not telling you anything about my real life. I'm not telling you about the hopes and dreams and aspirations I have. I'm not remembering stuff about you and fostering a relationship. I am just acting. I'm making all of this up." They don't do that. You
I
know
would
they don't
say
do that.
completely
Don't pretend
depends on the
that that's what
model
they
and
do.
The people interacting with them, because
Let's
I
be-
absolutely have people who buy my content who are my friends. Some people, maybe I'll never get to know them, they'll never get to know me, but I do
Maybe
have
so.
deep conversations
you-
with people.
I
that
would
interact
imagine
with them, I would say
exactly. I
so.
would imagine so. So it's
And that
fundamentally
part isn't
different.
acting for me.
Hold on.
Like
I,
it can
thank
be.
you.
It can be for some
I
people.
appreciate that. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you confirmed that. It's not acting. You're actually having a relationship with these people, right? The idea that we have.
It depends on the context, because if you're engaging in
Mhm.
role play or something like that, that's different.
Well,
So
well,
I
of
would
course,
say
that
all
is
of it's
different.
like contextual.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing, right? It's one thing for someone to come and pay for a service. It's another thing to pay to engage, and then you engage authentically with the person, right? That is assuming
You
again
have-
that this
you
isn't a
have to pay
marketing
to
team
message?
going on here.
Do
Yes.
you have to pay to message?
Yes. If
That's
if
a
No, you
fact.
don't.
if there's like if there's a
Depends on the creator, for
$9.99
sure.
price tag to enter into the website, then yes, you must pay to message.
Some
I
people
don't-
have free accounts.
Yeah.
Well, some
You know.
people have free accounts.
Would you
and they
extend
have
this to
tip,
cam
where
models
you
too?
have to tip to literally send a message. So
No, that's not true. You
That's
have
more
to tip
literal
the
than
message.
that.
I
That's
don't
not
know.
how that works.
No. Some listen. It may not.
That's not how that works.
It
Your
may be
tip,
the case.
if you
It may
tip,
be
your
the
message
case.
will go to the top, but you don't have to pay money to message.
No.
You
There's
know-
Also, if you're
there's
following each other
also-
back, you don't have to pay at all.
I
I
do.
feel like the monetary
Okay.
exploitation is the
Yes.
least of it, and I think me and Xerxes would probably agree on that. So
I-
we don't
but
even have to
here's the
spend a lot of
thing,
time talking about the
I-
dollar amount.
Speaking
I
of
think
though,
that might be
speaking of
the case,
monetary
but-
exploitation, just real
Mhm.
quick, I do have some
Mhm.
super chats that I want to read,
Okay.
and then I want to talk
If you're
about whether.
genuine, it's exploitative, though. You can't be genuine. You have to act when you're responding to these chats. That
I'm
according
always
to him.
Not true.
No,
Okay.
Julie
it's still
messages.
exploitation.
I said this story earlier. Julie messaged someone. I want soup. Someone was like,
I fuck around on my OnlyFans. I don't. I think that I troll a lot. I
We'll,
don't know.
we'll get to
I'm
it.
not.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Hold on, why?
I might be
I'm
an
confused.
outlier with the OnlyFans girls. I gotta be real.
$5 from Fancy Teeth to say this. Bro, how many OnlyFans relationships have you had? 0. Honestly, that's the first question we need to ask. Who here consumes OnlyFans content? Raise your hand if you consume OnlyFans content.
Oh,
One.
Over
Well,
my
you
dead
create
body.
it. Well, I guess maybe you consume your friends. That's fair.
consume your
Yeah,
friends is
I
crazy.
said
sentence.
Yeah,
that
like
too
you
often
can.
before
my
I made
friends.
it.
No, they're not my friends. I just think they're pretty.
Consuming your friends
True.
is a different
It's art.
topic. $5 from DJ Nuts.
Consume. Yeah.
Married couples get divorced over emotional cheating all the time. It's usually a precursor to physical cheating as well. They're both bad. True. $5
I
from
agree.
Blahika Blah.
But like with an AI,
I don't know. Like I would be
I think I
offended.
could put up with my significant other cheating on
I
an
don't know.
AI.
I'd be offended if I found out
Really?
that I had a girlfriend or a wife.
Because I would
or
just think it's so
significant other,
stupid. So like I
and
would
they
think
were
it's kind of funny.
I
I would
they
be like, how did that
Wouldn't that be a
abandoned
lose
me
her?
reflection
for
of you,
an
though?
AI. That would be far more offensive than they
I would
abandoned
have
me
to
from
Yeah,
like
well,
Christian
I wouldn't.
Slater. If
I
they
wouldn't be
abandoned me for like
offended.
fucking Christian Slater, I could at least understand it. Like, okay, I get it.
My
right?
thing
But
is
if
if
it,
you cheat on me with an AI, I feel like you're so stupid. Why am I dating you? An
Yeah.
AI?
So like I'm breaking up with you because you're stupid.
But this
Yeah,
is
not 'cause you
interesting.
cheated.
So you guys just completely disconnect any like reflection or any responsibility you have to your boyfriend. Like if he's cheating with an AI, you don't even think to yourself, well, Flip, what did I not do or what
But no,
did I do to
If
lead
you
that
go to the
cheating?
extent of cheating, that's on you. Goodbye.
No, see,
I'm
Context
reading
of the
your chat log and
relationship,
seeing
for
how
hold
much
on,
of a
hold on,
dirty
hold
little
on.
loser
Can
you
we get
are.
back on
Okay?
topic,
There's
please?
a- there's a-
well, let's
there's a
get back to
question.
the super
I
chats.
have questions
real
for
quick.
Julie.
Yeah,
whenever
let's
we're
get super chats real quick. $5 from Blahiki Blah.
Fuck.
He has questions for you.
Does it become exploitation if they are using dating apps to just funnel matches to their OnlyFans with comments
Yeah,
like,
It always
yeah,
is.
I heard that's a big thing. So I would
Yeah,
say
I think that's weird.
Well,
I
listen,
think
listen,
that's
commenter.
exploitative. I don't think
No,
people should be using dating apps for marketing.
I don't
to
even like
be
when people
honest,
put their Instagram in
well,
there.
we're going to get to. Xerxes, hold on.
It
Let me
is
get
a
through
Yeah.
these
different thing.
things. Let me get through these super
because
chats.
no one here has actually disagreed with anything I've said then. Because I laid out from go, my first premise is they need to
Disagree with
convince me it's
everything.
not, and they just accept that it is. So
Big
that's
disagreeer.
No,
such.
I said
And
context
I need to
matters.
shave my
It
head.
is
But
and
anyway,
it isn't. It depends
well,
on
to
how
be fair,
someone's
you weren't
doing it.
here. Yeah, to be fair,
okay.
you weren't here.
Yeah.
$5 from
Yeah.
DJ Nuts to say casinos are at a macro level less exploitative than porn and OnlyFans, and that's a
Ow.
claim. I don't know if I agree
know
with
that-
that.
No, that's
Well,
I
listen,
think
if
it's
I
more
steal less
exploitative.
money, hold on. If I steal
Casinos are
less
not as
money,
bad
did
as
I
they
not
make
steal money? Think, commenter. I stole $20.
If
Is that
anything,
no
a
longer
casino
theft?
is more
Someone stole
exploitative.
Yeah, that's what I
500.
think it's way more because at least you're getting something out of paying
Okay,
for porn.
so
Like
more
You
is not
can-
a
You're
counter
not.
argument.
Well, even
More
not
is
even
a
that.
counter argument.
Well, they
You
have to do
can-
the relative. They have to do the relative because they can't.
You
they
can
can't
talk to an
defend
It has to be
OnlyFans
the
model
case,
without
exactly.
They're
paying.
playing games with value
They are.
judgment.
No,
And
you
that's
can-
exactly correct.
We're
You
gonna
can-
get to it. We're gonna get to it. We got more. We got more. We got more. We got more. I
More?
promise. We'll get there.
Goddamn.
I know. We make some money.
Kirby, get your bangs on. I'm
My
alone.
goodness. Ow.
I think they're in my
$5.
bathroom. You want me to grab them?
$5 from Fancy Teeth. A
Wait, I gotta
casino
listen.
is less exploitative than Walmart. They tell you the win rates. It's more explicit than if you're getting ripped off shopping for groceries. Okay, Fancy Teeth. Thank you for the
There's apps you can
$5,
get for
but
that.
that is the most retarded thing I've heard all night.
I gotta
That
tell you.
Yeah.
Walmart
There's price
is
comparison
less
apps, for sure.
exploitative, or a casino is less exploitative than Walmart. That Walmart exploits people more than a casino does. That's wild. That's wild.
Nah, he's
Um,
burning the toast. He's not cooking.
$5 from Dandelion Mead. If y'all on the stream could stop interrupting and talking over each other, I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to listen to everyone. Well, we'll see. $5 from DJ Nuts. If your significant other cheats on you with an AI bot, it's either that you're a bad partner or your tastes are awful. Thank you for $5. Okay, with
Hey,
that, before
okay.
anyone jumps in, I want to talk about like exploitation, what that means, right? And what that actually looks like when it comes to OnlyFans. Now, I think we all just agreed that going on a site like
Tinder.
a creator, going on a site like Tinder, going on a site like Hinge, or any of these other
Can I give an operative definition, Wick, for exploitation? And if you like it, you can carry with it.
by all means.
Because so I think one thing we get tripped up on is the buyer seller relationship, right? That is not inherently exploiting, right? Exploit has a particular like connotation to it. Usually when we use it, we mean a particular thing, right? Now, I think with price gouging, with identifying a need and knowing that this person cannot do anything but buy your product, so you increase it, right? You increase the price to a point where you can kind of, and obviously this is relative, but you can kind of say this, okay, this is unreasonable. Like let's say you had like water and you were selling a one bottle of water for $500 because you knew that everybody needed water, right? At that point, and you could probably lower it too, but at that point, we'd all be like, that is exploitation. You're exploiting people, right? But if you were only selling them for 50 cents and I said, you're exploiting me, you'd probably be like, what? How am I exploiting you? This is a fair price, right? So it's not just the buy sell relationship. So I think that we can say that for the price thing, right? But then we also realize that if there's also the need itself that could be being exploited, and that need it might have a particular quality to it compared to another one. So for example, thirst is pretty significant on your hierarchy of needs in terms of needing to be satisfied. A PlayStation 5 is not, right? So even if I tried to sell you a PlayStation 5 for $5,000 or not for money, but I told you, I don't know, give me a kiss for it, right? Any kind of whatever would be unfair, right? It's still a PlayStation 5 I'm trying to sell you. You don't need that. You want it, right? But water you need. Men, women, humans need companionship. They need closeness. They need intimacy, right? They do not need porn, right? So I'm not going to defend. I'm not defending porn as a necessity. I'm just saying any man that is going out looking for a proxy for those more innate needs, right, is doing something similar to trying to satisfy a thirst or a hunger.
May I say
Julie,
one thing
Julie,
real fast?
Julie.
You
Go
you
ahead.
said like companionship and intimacy and some other word or whatever. All of those things you can get from family and friends.
I need to say something.
You don't
I'm
need
sorry to
to
cut you
go
off.
be sexual with a stranger online to get those things.
Exactly.
Like
That's why I need to say something. I'm sorry to cut you off. That's why I need to say something. Because if we were to create a definition, let's see if we can challenge this. To exploit is to take advantage of a weakness or deficit someone has. Would that be a fair definition that we could all agree on?
I think
Would you agree to that, Julie? Would you agree that that's
Yes.
how what an exploit is?
Yes.
yes and no.
Take
And the reason
advantage
why
of?
is because I think that this sort
Well,
of
there's more for Julie because Julie had a great. I wanted to
Huh?
frame it so when Julie responds that
Wait,
like
take
she
advantage is
I
like
don't
she
agree
answers
with
that
your framing
definition.
until I know where you're
Okay.
going. Tell me where you're going
So
before I
essentially,
agree.
what I'm saying is that, like, if we use the definition, to exploit is to take advantage of a weakness or deficit, right? If you know that the individual
Again,
has
is
a
the
deficit
literal
or,
definition.
uh, mhm.
I'm disagreeing.
Well,
It's like no, it's
we could
actually the
probably
literal
we
definition.
would yeah. So, well,
I just
exactly
looked up the
because
literal definition. That is the
yeah.
definition.
Well, I guess that just means I'm smart, but so if we understand that that's what it means to exploit, then the question would then be, Julie, how would you think that that's not exploiting a man if he, let's say, he doesn't have his friends or family, or he doesn't have those avenues? How would that not be exploiting
No,
that deficit then?
I think OnlyFans is exploitive in some way, and so is the girlfriend experience. I just don't think it's as bad as you're making it out to be. I just don't think it's something
Can
that we
I
should.
comment on this?
Go ahead, please.
As
Mhm.
far as like people not having those things around them, I would.
Your mic's cutting out.
Your mic is bonkers.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I would say that them not having that around them, that unfortunately, like streamers, OnlyFans creators, kind of supplements that in a way, and it doesn't inherently make that predatory or exploitative, but it can actually be, I don't know, like some kind of like practice for some people. It like varies situation to situation, and as long as like the context is empowering, I think it can actually be a benefit for some situations. And in my example, I've been doing the type of work for about 9 years. I've had several people who have like been with me, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I got a girlfriend. Like, look at me and my girlfriend getting married." And like, I still have friendships with those people. So I
And
think it
you would
really
say it's
depends on the
because they
context
talk
as
to
well.
you? Would you say you're
I
the
wouldn't.
like you're
I I wouldn't know that for a fact or anything like that, but I would say that the reflections I've gotten from people and how I bring them some sort of like comfort when things are hard or they really don't have anybody, um, to from their anecdote, from their words,
Mhm.
it can be helpful.
So
So
would you say that you do OnlyFans for their sake or for your sake? That you're
I would
here
say it's a
because you want to
mix.
do good for them rather than
No,
you want money from
okay,
them.
this is where I'm jumping ship. You can't say you're
Yeah.
doing it for their sake.
It's
You
all for
can't.
me,
I'm
baby. It's
so
all for
sorry.
me.
So,
You
so that's what I'm saying, right? So if it's not for their sake, then again, I'm telling you, you
I
guys are couch
absolutely
arguing.
stand by what I
No,
said. I
if
would
I
say
have
it's
a
a mix
business,
of
if I'm
both.
Okay,
selling
but this
art,
is
if I'm
that's like
selling
so
artwork,
stupid
if
though.
I'm selling
Like I'm
artwork,
Is
not
it?
working
they're
for
for
Walmart for
my sake.
Walmart's sake. I'm working for Walmart for
Mhm.
my sake.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
That's stupid.
yes.
So again, in
I mean, not
regards
always. It
to,
depends on if you like the company you work for, I guess.
there's
Well, for
also,
me,
it could
it's
be a
not
mom and
exactly
pop
the
shop.
company, but it's the
Companies.
ability to
If you
connect
think
with
All
about a
for
people.
mom
me
and
at the
pop
end of the
shop,
day.
Even the nicest company, I'm still
Okay,
doing
so
it for
just
me.
hold on.
let's say it's a family
Saying this.
business
No,
though.
stop,
So
stop.
it's not necessarily the
Please,
case, but when it
please,
comes to
please, please.
OnlyFans,
Calm down, Cersei. Calm down, because I do want to touch on something, right, that I don't want to
Mhm.
escape from, that Cassie said, that I keep hearing throughout this conversation, right? I think often topical said it. I'm not sure if Kirby said it or not. I've heard it a few times. Streamers and OnlyFans are being conflated, right?
Mhm.
OnlyFans creators, to be clear, and I I think that there is a fundamental difference between an OnlyFan creator who is engaging in sexuality with their audience and with the people around them versus a streamer.
A
There's a
streamer. So
fundamental difference.
I'll tell you why I
There's a
disagree with
reason,
that.
if I may finish, there's a reason that Twitch is cutting off certain levels of sexuality, right? And they prevent it from happening, right? But
But Wick, you got
OnlyFans
your
does
nips
both.
out. Wick, you got your nips out. Why can't I
do-
have my nips out?
Can I,
I can't
can
that's an
I,
inherent
Hold
sexual
on,
function.
can I, can I,
I
can
do
I
want to
shoot?
say, as someone who streams and does OnlyFans, I have never experienced the harassment and stalking and parasocial bullshit on OnlyFans that I've dealt with from streaming. I have had people make multiple accounts a day on Twitch for months to tell me that they're gonna kill me and my sisters. Never happened on
You think
OnlyFans.
that's unrelated? You think there's not crossover between
No,
those two things?
because when this was happening, I didn't advertise. In fact, I still don't even advertise my OnlyFans on my Twitch. I just hang out and like just do chatting and stuff. I'm not there with like my tits out like being like sexual.
No, I
stuff.
didn't. I
I'm
didn't. I
literally
didn't say
just
that.
like
I
doing
didn't say
homework
that you
and
were. But the people that are in the chat, they have no idea what else that you
They
do.
probably have some idea, but like when I'm getting these harassments, it's not. They're not saying like because you have an OnlyFans, I want to kill you. They're saying like
Why would they
because
say
you're
that?
not. Because that's literally they said they were gonna kill me. I got death threats daily for months because I banned someone. I've had people that I've banned go into my friends' chats and beg me and beg my moderators and beg other people in my stream to get me unbanned to the point where they've donated to my Streamlabs so it'll show up on stream months after the fact to try to get my attention. I've never had anything like that happen on my OnlyFans. The harassment I've received from streaming has been a million times worse. A
This
million.
might sound
I don't
childish.
think
Hold on.
you
I-
can
I
operate as a
agree
litmus
with
test
that.
for this.
I
though.
agree with that statement.
Please, Julie, you understand, like, well, to be clear, I don't know how popular on OnlyFans, maybe not, but I would imagine that the low barrier of entry, meaning no barrier of entry for streaming, means that you have a lot more of an audience that comes in, whereas OnlyFans has tools that you can curate it a little better, and also has barriers of entry that protect you in a way. But that's not what we're really here to argue, right? Whether or not it's safer for you on OnlyFans versus Twitch.
Well, I
We're
would
here
argue
to-
those barriers of entry for OnlyFans or whatever would bring in those people that are more parasocial like that. Like they're the ones that are willing to pay that, so they're gonna go to the OnlyFans. But why am I not getting harassed on OnlyFans the same way I am on Twitch?
Because they want your affection. That's why. The deficit is they want affection from Julie, so they're paying money to get to
It's the s-
Julie so they can
But it's
have
the
that
same on
interaction.
Twitch. I literally
Well,
one of my
it's
top
not.
donators for months was the
Mhm.
one that was stalking me.
Well, the donator, excuse me, the donator is still paying money. He's just not a subscriber, right? But he still
Yeah,
wants the
but
same
like,
thing. In fact, he absolutely wants. If anything, yes, he is
Can
definitely.
we,
But
can we
even
not,
besides
not
him-
spend a whole bunch of time
Point
talking
is,
about obviously unhinged, severely mentally ill
No, but
edge
there's a point to
cases?
this. No, of
Because
course,
those will
this
exist,
is.
but I don't think that.
Yeah,
needs
just
to
like these guys who think that they
But
have a chance with the
no.
OnlyFans girls.
It reinforces
Hold
the
on,
point.
hold on,
Actually,
no,
I
off
actually
the
think
topic.
It's not a
Julie
strong
reinforced
point.
the point here. Actually, I think, and that is that like this dude here, right? He might be unhinged and he might be goofy, but he is still paying money to get attention from you. You didn't actually really like describe a difference there. Like you're still
no,
in OnlyFans, you're
the
still
one guy
selling
did, but other
some
people that I've had
sexuality.
stalk
Well,
me, like
let me
I've just
touch-
banned people and they've stalked me for months after. Kirby's even had that where she's banned people and they've stalked her after.
That's it. That's
Or like not even like they haven't
Mhm.
even given her money. They've
But
just
here's
went crazy.
here.
so
Stop.
so here's the
Xerxes, I understand you got a lot to say, but we got a lot of people here. I want to get a lot of people able to see. Kirby had her hand up. I want to give it to Kirby. I want to see what Kirby had to say. She's trying to get in here. So
I was just because we talk about the girlfriend experience and they don't want to compare OnlyFans to Twitch, but I think you get honestly, truthfully, I think you get the girlfriend experience more going to like or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you want to say, experience more on Twitch because you get the personality, you get the interaction, you get it over and over and over again, you get it instantly in that moment. Versus OnlyFans, it might take a week for the response. Sure, maybe
Yeah.
let's pretend that they're the ones running the account. You're
On
gonna get it a
Twitch,
week
you're like
later.
live chatting them. You feel
You're
more
live
connected. You
chatting
feel
on
like you
Twitch.
actually know them.
So
The
that's
parasociality
where-
on Twitch is way worse.
That's where I think it's like the obsessive behavior comes from, where it's like you don't expect the instant response on OnlyFans. So like I do think that is like a huge difference, and I think that's kind of contributes to like taking advantage versus I think these men know that it's not necessarily you're going to respond instantly. And if you think
it still depends on the context of the okay.
what is
So,
the
'cause all-
context that you're looking
yeah,
for?
yeah, I'm be happy to explain it. Be happy to explain it. So all
Yeah.
these things have their own details. So if I'm streaming gaming, for example, let's say I'm streaming Call of Duty Warzone, right? And people are chatting and they're talking about the game. That is not the same thing as me doing a just chatting stream where I am doing my best to look as cute and dolled up as possible with a fan base that I know, because I've curated it, I know is mostly full of single, lonely young men, some of them underage, but we're not gonna talk about that,
So-
who are hoping
What's wrong?
No,
who are
no,
hoping
no,
was that?
no,
who are
no,
hoping-
no,
Go ahead, let him finish.
Okay.
Go ahead, let her
I'm-
finish. He didn't get a chance to finish, and y'all
I
went
didn't
through
get a
his
chance to
throat.
I'm
finish.
already
So-
that was an
so-
insane
so
point that he tried.
get angry now,
Do you
get angry
know
later.
them? Am I not allowed to
We
be
could-
attracted,
we could-
or am I
we
supporting
could-
men?
Give it a
What
give it a
we could
moment.
fight
What
it.
is
Yeah, but
that?
don't-
We
Give it
can
a
fight
moment.
it all
Give it a
out.
That is
moment.
We can
insane.
fight it all
Hold on,
out. I got
Julie.
hands for
Julie.
days. Don't worry, I'm
If you
here.
gotta
So,
be cute for a bunch of men, I think that was a lit stream, dude. Honestly.
so,
Review
so,
best.
so again, remember, you can stay with me here. I'm painting context. So we have me on the left streaming a game, right? And then we have on the right, I am going out of my way to create what can only be described as a parasocial relationship that is as close as I can get to. So at best, you would say it's this sort of casual, sort of you're hanging out with me relationship. But what I'm really gearing towards, because this is where the big money comes from, this is where the whales put their money in, is them feeling like they're either kind of dating me or maybe they kind of have a chance because I date nerds and I date chatters and I'm single, right? Which is very common. So like them pretending to be single, that is, not them actually being single. So remember, when we're putting context on these things, you actually don't get to, and I know it's so much easier for you guys to argue this way, but I'm not gonna let you. You don't get to just be like everything is the same. Every streamer is the same. They're all doing the same thing. There's no differences. There's absolutely a difference. At the beginning of Twitch's inception and some other streaming services as well, it was mostly gaming. The context mattered. If you chatted and you were like, hey, like who do you have any siblings or like where do you live, or like it'd be like, what are you doing, why are you asking me that kind of stuff, what's going on, right? We're far beyond that, to where the streamers that are making money from parasocial relationships, they want you involved in their lives, or at least to whatever manufactured extent they can manage, so that you feel that you are a part of their lives. That is not what every streamer is doing though. Okay, so that's what I'm saying when I say context.
You keep talking about fundamentally wrong. You are fundamentally wrong. You see the beginning of Twitch, you see these gaming streamers, the way they grow their community is they talk about their personal lives. They tell personal stories. The way to keep them engaged is you're telling stories about your life that they can relate to. You're asking about their lives. If you're like a 1-2 viewer person, you're going to keep engaging with them because you want them to stick around. So no matter what, it's going to be a back and forth. So this is like a crazy like argument that you're like, if you're playing games, you're not engaging. That's just not true.
Nobody
Like,
grows
there's
a huge
difference
stream
between
from not
Completely
engaging with the
agree with
chat.
manipulation and sexual element.
There's
Exactly,
no
because
sexual
there's
element.
difference.
That's
No,
not
but
fact.
hold
Yeah,
on,
you-
it is
Tossed it.
implicit, and I think here's the thing. I do think it's a bit disingenuous as a young lady to not recognize the implicit reality that being an attractive person does imply that there is some degree of sexuality and desire coming from the people that are interacting with you. It does exist, right? And I think, like, to my friend cohort's point, there is a banking on in the utilization of that. Like for example, this is a little old school, but ST Peach used to be in super short shorts. She'd stand up, she'd walk around, she'd show her butt off. It was to me at the
Is that
time
the woman
very
who's naked
clearly
cat?
she's trying to gain or garner or use some sexual the sexual desire of her audience in order to bolster herself up consistently. She still played games, but she included and used her sexuality in order to continue to get her
Yeah,
audience
but
to
you're
grow.
using
That is
examples, but
there, right?
there's also
So
the polar opposite examples. There was that
exactly,
one
and so,
streamer named
but
Gamer
that's what
Girl,
but that would be
no
the
camera,
difference.
nope, none of that.
That's why
But
we're saying
to
that
bring
there's
it
a
back
difference
from
there.
streaming to OnlyFans,
Mhm.
because that's the argument today, isn't
Yeah.
so much about streaming in general, but OnlyFans, even though we can use examples of streaming to kind of compare and contrast.
Well,
I
some people
understand.
use streaming to funnel them
I
to
get you,
OnlyFans,
I get you, I
which is
get you.
kind of
But
rational
to
actually,
bring
because
it
that's
back,
what the platform's
but,
for.
but
Can
to
we
bring
stop
it,
pretending? Sorry, wait, but can we stop pretending that the platform of OnlyFans is not to curate people who are fans to directly communicate with you? It's not simply just
course,
pornography.
in a
That's the
sexual manner.
purpose
I
of
have a
its
question.
entire existence.
And the key here is in a sexual manner. I want to hear what Catnip has to say. Go ahead, Cassie.
Yeah, so I am asking the people who are cohort and Xerxes, um, would you guys say that like if a celebrity were to do a photo shoot or an interview revealing personal information about themselves, would that be exploitative in the same way, especially if it was like a sexual kind of photo shoot to promote an album or a movie? Is
Yes,
that
yes.
exploitative in the
They
same way as an
they're
OnlyFans model?
often told by their PR, their management. Sometimes they are told to go out of their way so that they can. They would like to use the word humanize, which to an extent there's a time and place for that. So I'm not saying it's always like the worst thing, right? I think you need detail sometimes to be able to fully give a value judgment. But the goal with some of those things is sometimes to make the fans or the audience
But
feel as if they are a
But
part.
on your definition of the word exploitative, you said that there would have to be like a lack of something, say like human intimacy, something like that. As far as like
Mhm.
celebrity photo shoots and interviews, there's an abundance of that, and it's a very different thing than getting to know a person. But
Mhm.
honestly, getting to know somebody, that's a lot of things that people talk about. Oh, like what kind
Yeah,
of
I wouldn't
celebrities
agree.
do you
I
like?
wouldn't
What
agree
kind of
that an
movies do you
interview.
like, and things
Yeah,
like that.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
not
agree
just
that a simple interview would be exploitation, right?
yeah,
Like
no,
that's
no,
why
the interview,
I'm
no, yeah,
framing OnlyFans specifically, right? So
yeah.
like for example, let's say I don't know, Megan Fox, sorry, first name on top of my head. Let's say she did an interview with GQ, right? And she might talk about her dogs, and she talks about how sometimes she likes to go roll around in the mud and she gets dirty and stuff like that. Like just like I'm just one of you guys. I'm the same. I'm similar. Creating a relatability, right, does increase a fan's desire to want to continue to support someone. For example, Donald Glover to me is very relatable, right? Is he exploiting me when he does a comedy show? I don't think so. I want to see him keep doing comedy shows, right? So I want to give him money to, prop up his art. But let's say I have a deficit, right? Now this is different, and this is incredibly different. If I have a deficit where I want intimacy with some lady I think is cute, let's just use Julie since she's here, and I go to her OnlyFans so I can talk to Julie, right? How is she not exploiting me? She knows what I want. I want intimacy. I want to talk to her. I want to, I want to see her naked. I want to talk and have some type of relationship with her.
But
Where's
is
the
that
lack of
just because you want
exploitation?
it with her? Because you could go out to like a place to dance, like an ecstatic dance, like a retreat,
Well,
something
it'd
to
be the
meet
same.
people in the flesh and have that intimacy, right?
Hmm.
But you're choosing Julie because you want to see
Hmm.
Julie because that's a creator that you admire for looks or personality or whatever it is.
Hmm. And so but we would have to pretend that again that
Can
like
I
Julie doesn't understand being attractive gets men like that to come to her though.
can I
Like,
ask?
would
There's
you
a
say that you
few.
don't understand
There's
that
lots of
reality,
attractive
Julie?
people out there though, especially if you go out in real life to like an ecstatic dance or a retreat or
Hmm.
Do you
something.
But they
think
There's
that's
know.
but
beautiful
do
They
you
people
think
in
that's
real
know.
what
life
do you think
too.
that's
It's the
what's happening
same.
with these men? So okay, because I think Joe, I'm glad you paid attention to my definition. I don't know if everybody else did, but you did. I appreciate that. The bit there
A
about
backhanded way of
identifying
speaking. What can you just like
identifying
say a sentence without
it's
being like,
it's
Yeah,
just to get a
oh,
every two
rise out
you
of
may
seconds
you.
it's
be
a
dumb.
fucking
It's
snipe.
just to get a rise
You
out of
may be
you.
dumb, but like, let me explain this for you.
No, it
It's
wasn't
just to
like
get
that.
a. I definitely didn't mean it. How would I be calling her dumb? I said I'm
No,
glad you
the
paid
If
I
rising
attention.
don't
anything,
sun
I
you
don't
can
know if
doesn't
imply
everyone
matter.
everyone
You
has
just
else.
pay
good
It
attention.
was,
intentions.
No one
Well,
else pays
you guys
attention.
also
Okay,
I
okay, enough,
didn't say
enough, 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 enough,
understand.
enough, enough, enough,
Now
enough.
this is
I
dumb
I
shit if
guess
we're gonna
Wait,
pretend that we're
wait,
not
let me-
sniping
oh my
every
god,
2
my god,
seconds.
ladies, gentlemen, ladies, gentlemen, here's a question I have, right? So, because I think this is going to get to the heart of the matter. We keep dancing around it and getting distracted, and we're not addressing the issue at hand. So maybe I'll try here. Um, who here is comfortable admitting that they're an OnlyFans creator? Raise your hand if you have an OnlyFans or have had an OnlyFans in the past and engaged with that. Then let me ask you both, Julie and Cassie. Is there ever a point in time where a man would offer you money and you would say, "Hey, buddy, we're gonna cut you off"? Like at a bar, for example. If a bar sees a patron who is like super drunk, a lot of bars will say, you know, that's it. We're cutting you off. You're not having any. The problem I'm seeing is
I
that
do that
most
often.
I'll let you answer in a second, right? But let me finish, right? But the problem I'm seeing is while I'm sure Julie might be someone who, and Cassie, I'm sure you both have these ethical like limits. A lot of OnlyFans creators don't. They will milk the man for every
I would
single
love to
cent.
speak on this.
Go ahead.
Can I? Can I? So absolutely agree with what you just said at the end. There are creators, and I've seen certain documents that some management companies and some models use as a point of reference, and this is how many very top models do their thing, which I think is exploitative and wrong, and that's why I don't operate my business in that way. They will say like use this method like to guilt trip. They'll call people whales. They'll say like how to cut a whale off or whatever, and they will like in plain writing say that they are exploiting people. I do not condone that. I have had people where it's like they'll say like, "Oh, I really want to save up for this thing." I'll be like, "Okay, stop tipping me and save up for that thing that you want," because like I'm
Yeah.
also sometimes people approach me and they're like, "Hey, could you actually like low key dom me into like being smarter with my money?" And if that's an experience someone wants, like who am I to say that that's bad? Like I think that's where it's like more empowered, where
I don't
people
do like pay
aren't
pick stuff where
objectifying each
people
other like
want you
that.
to like bully them into getting their money. I don't do that shit. I feel like that shit is weird as hell. I refuse
Yeah,
to
I
do
feel
that.
uncomfortable by most of that
Well,
shit.
well, is
Because
it
I
because
had
it's
a pay
weird
peg
or
once who like he started
No,
being
it's
really
weird.
abusive and weird,
I
and
have a
then he
question.
wanted his money back, and it's really hard to
I have a
navigate that
question,
and find an empowering dynamic with that.
Yeah,
which is
Zerg, I know
great.
you have a question, but off the topical needs to get in. We're gonna give it
I
to off the
just
top.
want to, and we don't have to debate this a whole lot, but I do want to point this out that I think that your comparison that you made a second ago is not very apt or very accurate when you said that will OnlyFans creators cut people off when they're going too far the same way that a bar will. I just want to point out that bars are not cutting you off out of the goodness of their heart or because they want to make sure that they're not taking advantage of you. Bars are cutting you off for legal liability reasons.
Yeah, that's true.
That's great
two
point.
things can happen at the
Shouldn't
same
there
time.
be a legal regulatory body,
Nope.
Who's
perhaps,
gonna
that
enforce that?
Two things can be true at
they
the
do
same
it for
time, though.
That's a
bars?
tricky situation.
They do it for bars. I
Uh,
don't, just because it might be hard and logistics
Mhm.
might be a little something beyond the scope of what I'm able to elucidate today to you on a stream with 6 people, doesn't mean that I don't think that it isn't possible, right?
I'm glad you
I
asked
think that
that.
we can.
Let
I
me cut in.
If I
I
Let
don't
may,
me
think that
cut in
should.
and ask a question because I think this is pretty interesting, right?
go ahead.
So Catnip and Julie, you guys say that the reason why you wouldn't drain someone is because you think it's weird. What's the actual moral disagreement with draining someone's account? You just seem like you just don't
It's
like it
just
because you're
weird.
picky,
If
but
they're not empowered by it, I don't want to engage. And it's the same
Well,
reason
Mhm.
if
I just
somebody
don't.
comes to me
I'm a
and they're
big
in a
kink shamer.
relationship,
Weird kink.
it,
Mhm. So you don't
if
really
someone
have like
comes to
a
me also,
okay.
if they're in a relationship, I will tell them like, is your partner consenting to this? If they're not, I don't engage.
Mhm.
Some
So
couples will
mhm.
actually come to me though, and I think that's cool. Like if a couple is like into that kind of thing, like I don't know, that's like very flattering to me. Like I'm very pro only doing things with people who yeah are not cheating. I don't engage in like cheating or anything like
Mhm.
that. To my knowledge, if someone
but
buys my content and they're doing something they're not supposed to, I don't know about that.
but what I'm trying to figure out is what is the actual moral principle of not draining someone's account? It just seems like
Not wanting to
you guys think
exploit
it's
them
weird.
for me.
So,
I,
well,
Well,
it's
it gets
they
weird. It
9 times
gets
out of 10, if they're a pay pig or whatever, it's like some weird kink. I don't do kinks. I don't fuck with that.
mhm.
I don't do
Can we
kinks.
talk about
But I
the
don't do
1 out of 10?
sexting or anything like that.
Can we talk about
Huh?
the 1 out of 10? The 1 out of 10. You said 9 times out of 10 it's a kink. So like, what about the 1 out of 10?
I
Is
still
there a
won't even because I'm gonna assume it's a kink. Because why are you coming at me like that?
no?
It's
No,
weird.
I'm saying like Okay.
So
You
why
know
do
for a
you
fact-
why
you
do
know
you
for a
have the
fact-
OnlyFans?
admit
It-
to me
Wait,
that
hold
I don't
on,
have
hold on,
OnlyFans?
wait.
people
Wait,
use
Julie.
me as an addiction
I
as well
just
sometimes.
Huh?
One second, Julie. Before you answer that, before you pivot, I just want to understand. 1 out of 10, right? The guy is not. It's not a kink, and you know for a fact it's not a kink. Enter into my hypothetical.
Mhm.
What, if any, reservations do you have with draining his account? Okay, like he lets you know
For
he's down to his last dollars, but he values your product so much that he's giving it to you, right? He wants you to have you
I
because he wants more of the product too. So like, what's the
I don't need all of his money. I don't. There's no reason for me to take all of his money. He still needs groceries and shit. Like fuck me, dude. Go get your groceries.
Mhm. But you don't have like a moral principle or any framework that you judge this is. It's just how you feel,
But
kind
to
of.
be
Is that-
fair, like if she said no, he's gonna go to another girl to
He can just
go
go to
get
someone else.
Did
Perhaps.
you just do the
Yeah,
drug
perhaps, but
dealer
anyway.
defense?
Anyway, you know.
yeah, exactly. It's the drug dealer. What do you mean? Yeah,
But this is what's kind of peculiar to me
it's
because
porn.
He gonna buy it from
Hold on.
somebody else is crazy.
Hold on.
If he's gonna ruin his life, might as well ruin it on me.
Might
you
as
know?
well.
No,
be
no,
Let's
for
table-
you.
let's table that.
I just don't feel comfortable. I just don't feel comfortable. I don't want to take all of someone's money. I'm just not comfortable with that.
What
It's
the
just
hell?
not.
Mhm.
I
It's just
guess
not
my
for me.
argument
I'll say
here-
in that one,
Okay.
some people
There's
can
a
be.
moral
Same
reason
thing
behind
you're
it, but
trying
I
to
just
do
am
that.
not comfortable.
Same.
Mhm.
So I can
It
say.
might-
Oh.
Go ahead, finish. And then
Oh, I'll just say that there could be people who are uncomfortable with it, and that is obviously any creator's right to engage in content that they are comfortable with, or not engage in content that they're uncomfortable with. But to say that it's like immoral to do it, I don't agree, because at the end of the day, this comes back to, again, the kind of infantilization of adults. These are adults. They're
Why do we have a
fully
legal,
Off the top,
cognizant
let me ask you a
human
question.
beings who
Let
are
me-
capable of making their own decisions.
what's a
And
legal system?
Hold on. Stop. I want to ask off topical question. Really.
Mhm.
So if you had a chatter, you knew this chatter was broke. He'd lost his job. He doesn't have a lot. His wife and kids have left him, or they need money and stuff. And he's like, you know what? I just don't like my wife and kids that much, but I like your content, so here's $1,000. You
cool.
would take that $1,000?
I would feel bad for his family, but at the end of the day,
$1,000.
you're a grown up. You're an adult. And you are capable of making these decisions for yourself. It is not my responsibility to babysit your
I
finances.
do think you have a responsibility to tell people when they're about to harm themselves. No.
Yeah. Other people don't matter though, so it's
So for
okay,
example,
right?
if
Mm.
I had a chatter
It's very
who I knew was
overrated.
drunk, okay, it was clear as I was talking and as they go in, they were
Hold up,
drunk,
I'm getting a phone
right?
call I got to take. Sorry.
Okay, well this is
And I can't stand people like that. Like this idea that like other people don't matter, other people
You give
can't
to
be
homeless
ignorant,
every
and
time
you
you
gotta
pass them.
help them. Sometimes, not every time. And you
Yeah.
want to know something?
Interesting.
Sometimes I don't. I will tell you why. Sometimes I don't give to homeless people. It's because
Wait,
I
wait,
know some of them will engage.
Just hold on. Wait, she just did a thing. It's a sleight of hand.
Mhm.
One, those are not the same thing. You did not say the reason I don't give money to homeless people is because they're a grown adult and they can pull themselves up by their bootstraps
Yeah,
and sort their finances out. That's not what you said. If you had said that, it'd be the same as what Often said.
yeah,
Okay?
it isn't.
You have the same
What I'm
energy.
saying is that other people matter, and you can only do as much as you
Other
can.
people
though,
matter, but
right?
not everyone
Mhm.
matters. Okay.
I
Everyone
think you
does
have a
matter, but
duty
you
if
can
you know
only do
someone
as
is
much as you can,
yeah.
right? So let's be reasonable. If there's a building on fire, right, you're not supposed to run in there. You don't have the proper equipment, you don't have the training, you may not even have the physical strength to do that. So you don't do it. But if you know someone is drinking way too much, you can take their cup and say, "Nah, bro, it's good. You're good to go. We can't do that."
If
The
they try to
idea
get in their
that a
car, you
bar
take their
might
keys,
only,
right?
yeah,
You
exactly.
don't let them
The
drive.
idea, thank you, right? The idea, right, that like a bar only does this because they just don't want legal litigation and whatnot is ridiculous. You can care about other people and even the individuals that might be affected by the drunk driver, right? These aren't mutually exclusive ideas. You know? So I reject
No,
that
now
inherently.
I'm
That's
upset.
ridiculous.
Okay, now I'm
That
upset,
is
and I wish Off and
ridiculous.
Topical would get back because I have some questions. Okay, right? The idea that it's okay to no, they're
I'm back.
adults. It's perfectly,
I'm back.
perfectly okay where they just give me Off and Topical.
I
Really?
hope you
So,
heard that because this goofy.
hold
This
on. Let me
talk.
finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. Let me address it, please.
Mhm.
Off and Topical. The idea, right? That
Mhm.
if someone you know is being irresponsible with their money and trying to give you money when you know that they are going to have long-term consequences because of this, I think you do have a duty to tell them no. So even if they may go to someone else, fair, but you don't have to be involved in it.
What I'm saying is, so for me personally, I'd probably, if I'm being completely honest, I feel weird about it. I wouldn't be happy about it. I wouldn't be like, sick. This
Well, you
dude
take the
is,
money.
would you let me finish? I wouldn't go, sick. This dude is ruining his life and I'm making bank off of it. That fucking rocks. No, that's not what I would do. But also, I don't think that it's my responsibility to make sure that other people are living within their means. I think if you have a close friend, you can talk to them. And I think that if you get a donation from someone and you know that they're not good for it, you can tell them, hey, man, I don't think you should do this. That's totally fine. But I don't think you have like an obligation to refund them the money or anything like that. I don't think that that is your obligation. I think that you can, decide for yourself whether or not you want to tell that person. And I would too. I would say, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think you can bankroll this. I think you're going to be in trouble if you do this. But it's not my responsibility to then go when he comes back to me 3 days later and goes, hey,
Often, do you believe in social responsibility when it comes to companies?
when it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
to,
I just want to box with you real quick. Real quick, we're gonna be super quick, then everybody else can take it. Do you believe in social responsibility at all?
it depends on what you are talking about specifically. So when we're talking about so when we're talking about things like, for instance, pollution, something that affects every single person, whether or not they choose to engage with the company or not, I would say that, yeah, those companies have a responsibility there because you are affecting people who are not making decisions in that whatsoever. But if we're talking about things like, for instance, casino, I don't think that they have a social responsibility. No.
Why would a casino not? Why would it? First off, let's take a step back. Why would every company? So you recognize that companies exist within a social stratus, right? Like it's not a separate. They it's a there's a giant machine. Companies are in the machine. Society is in the machine, right? You recognize there's connective tissue here. So why would every company not have to observe some manner of social responsibility?
I think that they do, but I think it's what the extent is what the question is. The question is specifically, what extent do they have social responsibility? What are those social responsibilities? And I think when it comes to this, I think that something like a company making sure that you're not spending your last dollar on their product is not their responsibility.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I should let people, because I don't want to just take it.
Yeah.
Sorry, CSR isn't real. I just want to let you know. Like, yes, you have a CR, corporate social responsibility, but it's not real. You can pass the test, but it's not real. That's
What does that mean? What are you talking
It's
about?
not real because they don't actually ever try to.
You're being
fulfill-
descriptive. I was being prescriptive because I wanted to know what his stances were morally, like whether he thinks companies should have it. Now, if the system is flawed, which I agree that it is, then that stance is true. But I wanted to know whether he thinks it should even exist, like this concept of social responsibility at all even makes sense, given his.
I think
well,
to
here's
the
the
fair
truth,
point, he
though.
said yes and no, but like at the same time, it never exists. And
Like, do I think-
that kind of
My
we
question
can
is-
kind of delve back to the OnlyFans with this, where it does not exist.
Like, do I think that it's on the GameStop employee to stop somebody from buying a PS5 if it means that they're not going to be able to buy groceries for their family? No, absolutely not. It's not on the GameStop employee to do that. It's not on any part of GameStop to say, hey, man, you don't need a PS5 and you can't afford a PS5, so you cannot have a PS5. You give them your money and the company says, thank you very much. And I don't think that makes the company immoral. That makes the company doing a transaction. It's what they're there for.
Yeah, but there's
it's on the response. There's a level of there's a responsibility for the adult
But if
engaging in the
knowledge-
transaction.
Hold on. If you have the knowledge and you know that this is the case that's going to happen, why would you not then have a responsibility? You don't know this person. If I'm a cashier, I don't know. But if I do know the person and I do know that they literally need to pay child support because their baby's not gonna get any formula, right? I do know this. You're saying that even with full knowledge and understanding, that I should still take the $500 with full
He would
knowledge and
shake his head
understanding?
the whole time, like, man, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah,
Pocket
he'd
the
be
change.
swiping
Yeah.
the car like, man, this
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah, I'll tell someone it's a bad idea and take their money.
No,
Absolutely.
you shouldn't do this. But
So
thank
so
you
this
for
is
the
so the
500.
question is, how do you scale this to society? Like, no, let's not. How is this okay for OnlyFans girl? Let's just bring this back to the topic. Why is that okay for a young lady who knows that this man is in dire straits to take his money?
Because once again,
he knows that because it's his money, he just wants to throw it out. There's no obligation
yeah.
humans have to each other. None.
And to be clear, and I'll let Julie go right after this. But my accusation here, right? My the thing that I am arguing and advocating here is that many OnlyFans models create the situation where there is a dire need. They create the need. They purposefully target men and create this need for them to have a relationship with them and give money and things like that. That's my accusation. Julie, go ahead, please.
Somebody else go. I lost it. Please, Kirby.
You know,
somebody,
so,
anyone.
so hold on, do
Wait,
you
no, but
not
that
think
was a
you have
crazy.
an
That was a crazy
obligation?
statement before.
Yeah, you said something earlier about women praying specifically. I think the word praying is insane. I don't know if anyone's like they're using marketing
don't think I
tactics
used the
maybe to
word
pull it,
praying.
but they're not like
been
specifically
me.
choosing like, oh, he's a loser, I'm gonna get him to sub to my shit. And praying is like a crazy word.
Yeah, but you would
With all
hold on, but you would be
capitalism,
remiss to say.
some tactics are
Also,
predatory and
it's
they
not
suck.
my. The fuck is that?
Catnip is talking, but it was
She
like
did.
her mic was.
Oh, that scared the
No,
shit
I
out of me.
heard
So
her.
sorry.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was saying like with a lot of things with capitalism, like makeup or whatever, marketing tactics can be predatory. Is what I'm saying.
So here's my issue here, right? My issue with when it comes to OnlyFans is because in principle, we're gonna just take a step back from the marketing teams but in the
Well-
principle of an individual, one user who is supposed to be fostering a relationship with the fan, why is there no obligation to care about your fan? If first of all, again, if we look at fan, an individual who supports you and helps you out, why wouldn't it be incumbent upon you to care about this person? To some degree, you know what I'm saying?
I don't need to know your personal life. I don't need to know your personal financials. I don't need to know anything about you.
But
Like,
if you
at
do,
the end
do you have
No,
any
I don't. I
obligation?
don't. But the thing is,
If
I
you
don't.
do,
I just don't. I just
so but
don't.
the question,
I don't
okay,
have to at
so
all.
hypothetically,
hypothetical is a if,
you
yeah.
you know that this individual is in a deficit. You know that they're thirsty, like for your attention. Are you saying you have no obligation to cut them off? No obligation.
For me personally, if I know, I've had people say like, "Oh, I don't get paid till Friday." I say, "Okay, well, make sure your stuff is paid before you pay me." Like, I'm totally fine with saying that. However, it's not my job to go out of my way and be like, "Do you have enough money to give me money?" That's not on me.
so
That's
you
on
have
you
no
to figure that out
obligation.
for
Hold on, wait.
yourself.
So you just say no.
You're an
Jesse, I
adult.
want to address something really quick.
Manage your money yourself.
So, because I can only take so many for me personally.
Yeah, I hate
before
that.
my
That's
head
why
For
I'm
me
explodes.
personally.
So I know
Right.
that's a very common thing to grab for people that don't have the conviction to speak out loud about the things, the expectations that they place on others, because everybody has expectations, standards that they place on others in their head. Some people aren't confident enough to say them out loud, or they don't want to mess up their money, right? But
Okay.
let's dig into
Thank
that.
you for the
So-
$50. I get to put my shirt back
crazy
on.
that you
It
just
was
said
cold. I appreciate
So
you.
it's
hell?
gonna it's gonna get crazier. But I'm saying so because like earlier before you had said you don't want a relationship to start off without or with sex, right? Which I found interesting. But before that, you said for me personally, right? The for me personally is interesting because I wish I could backspace that and just find out whether that's something you believe is a good overall, right? Not that you would force other people to also have to not start relationships that way, but that you think, oh, this is just a good thing. I think that relationships should not start without sex, right? It always has to be like what's with the preceding for me personally every single time?
Because that's just how I feel. If other people want to fuck right away and then get in a relationship, they can do that. That
Did
has
my
nothing to
internet
do with
die?
me.
Am I back?
So-
Is
so
it
you
is
have
this
to
like a
principle.
roundabout? You're gonna say for me
Am I
personally,
back?
I don't like
Am
OnlyFans.
I
Like,
back?
okay, end of story.
No.
Yeah.
What we're pointing to is that there's no
What?
moral principle here. Like that, there's
Yeah.
nothing, there's no framework that you have that judges whether something's wrong or right. It's
So
just
when
how
we
you
get into
feel
the
and how
topic
you
of
don't feel.
morality, when we talk about morality, what is that
Mhm.
based off of? This has been a topic many times again. Is it
Okay,
based
just
off of God,
pause
like
for a
what
moment.
religion,
Pause
like
for a
what is
housekeeping. I got
morality?
some
Let
housekeeping.
me.
I got some housekeeping.
Mhm.
I think we're back. Okay, the stream just died, but I think we're back.
I think you
Fucking
died.
$50 more from GJ Nuts to fucking take my shirt off again. God damn it. Okay, carry on, please.
Do we know that they can afford
No,
that?
but
Are we sure that they can afford that?
Did you ask?
Wick,
Here's
you
the
better
thing.
refund
Here's
that,
the thing.
actually.
Here's the thing.
These are
Kirby.
not good points. No, he's
Here's the
not
thing,
going. No. Every time he makes one of these stupid
No, because every time that you make a little
audience,
snipe,
I'm
nobody
gonna point
says
out
anything
why
about it,
it's
so
stupid.
shut the fuck up.
That's kind
I'm
of
gonna point
vague.
out
I don't know
why
if I
it's
guess.
stupid. That's stupid because we painted a hypothetical where you know for a
He took
fact
it
the
up.
person giving money cannot
Well-
afford to do so. The idea was
Yeah.
not that you would scrutinize every transaction to make sure.
Well, the
that
point
person
is, your
giving money
thought is that
was
every
able
single
to do so.
transaction is when it's an OnlyFans
We
model.
didn't say
Every single
nothing.
No,
We
let
didn't
me
say
finish. Every
nothing.
single
Don't think
transaction with an
straight.
OnlyFans model is inherently exploitative because you're selling sex.
No.
Then how is this any different that
Every
every
single
single transaction is inherently exploitative because
So
Wick
stop
is selling an
snuggling in
experience
the
here?
word every single. Stop snuggling it in. We're
I'm not
playing with
smuggling in
we're playing
anything.
with the
I'm saying it
principle,
very
okay?
clearly.
Okay, you are arguing with the Phantom. We didn't say anything about every single. We didn't say about every single dollar amount, right? We said the principle of the application or the website or the service is exploitative. That's
If
what
the
we're saying.
principle is, then it would apply to everything.
If that be the case, right? When it comes to a Twitch streamer, we do not agree with your premise that it's even the same thing. We don't accept that. So you can't keep using
my point is you keep on saying it's not every single. It's not every single.
You didn't argue well for it.
You try to say that it's not every single transaction. It's not every single one. We're not saying every single one. We're just saying on very principle and foundation it is. Then that's every single one, dude. Pick a lane. No, pick a lane. Can you pick a lane?
We do not agree.
Are you capable of picking a lane here? Is it fundamentally exploitative, or is it every single one, or is it only some transactions?
Is the same as OnlyFans. We don't agree. So
that's not what I'm asking. I'm not even talking about that right now.
Money on Twitch.
I'm not even talking about that right now. What I'm talking about is every single transaction on OnlyFans exploitative or not? Is every single one bad or not?
I would say yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for answering that. At least now we at least have a clear answer there. Because a second ago you just because a second ago you were just saying that every single transaction. Well, you're not saying every single one, and now you're saying that it is every single one. Is my point?
Why that Twitch is the same as only we don't agree. So you keep making this point.
Yeah, I will say that it's exactly the same because you are paying somebody for attention. You are giving someone money in exchange for attention. You're not paying for a service that you need.
Both of you stop. Both of you stop. We're getting ahead. I knew I had to take off my earphones, so you guys took advantage of my.
I did. I knew I could yell right then.
Come on, man. Let me cook for a moment.
Can you not hear me?
No, you're like slow.
Kirby, refresh.
Okay.
We're good. Okay. So first of all, I am going to get to super chats in a second. Keep giving me that money, gang. But
are you pinned on
at least I've never been on OnlyFans, to be clear. I don't know. But I'd imagine if I was ever going to go on OnlyFans, I ain't wanting your attention. I want your titties, right? I want to see them nudies.
No,
right?
this is a fundamental misunderstanding.
Different than Twitch or other
different
things.
for everyone why they go to it.
It's different, right? And a lot of people see. I made a video about this many years ago, and I'll summarize it here. It is obvious in the case that pornography is free.
Thank you for the $50. Right? I get to put my shirt back on. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Right? It is obvious in the case. What the principle of OnlyFans? We're not talking about porn. We're talking about OnlyFans in principle. You won't have to agree with this because it's just true in its inception and in design. Is that you are to interact with a user, a specific user of that account. That's what it is. It's not just pornography. It's interacting with a person specifically.
Some people sub just to buy videos, though. Truly,
that might be
it really depends on the person.
That doesn't change what something is in principle. If I misuse something, that doesn't change the definition.
Also, this is why I laid out. This is why I tried to lay out my definition, right? Because that's I want to show my work, so you know why I'm saying I think everything is exploitative. It's because I think so. When I think of exploitation, right, and I use the definition, both the dictionary definition, but then also the relationship at play, right? I'm considering if a man goes to an OnlyFans model, right, and he's subscribing so that he can find a way to sublimate these desires for intimacy, for engaging in his sexual side, whatever, with this OnlyFans model, then he is engaging with an aspect of his person that is closer to need than want. And the original prompt was the girlfriend experience, not just buying pictures of titties. I would have came in here with a different approach for that, right? We can still talk about that, but just to be clear, that's what I came in here with, right? So my point is, if you're seeking out the girlfriend experience or anything akin to it, okay, what is being exploited there, right? And I'm using the word exploit because I think something is being exploited, right? Is that desire in the case of the girlfriend experience, literally the desire to not be lonely, to be to have companionship, to feel companionship, right? And I have a problem with that, but then also by definition that would be exploiting. The question was, is it exploiting men? By definition, yes, right? That'd be my stance. Sorry, go ahead.
To address some of those points, one of them is being the original prompt was, is it exploitative to men, right? And I looked up like the percentage of men versus women subscribing. It said 43% of subscribers are women. So like, why is this only exploitative to men? Like, it's not.
What's crazy is in my intro, I said it was exploiting both of them.
Even if
But I'm
it's
just
Yeah,
true,
saying.
but you
Kirby.
said that in this. You
But
said that in
Kirby,
the
we have to
sense
frame the
that it was like
conversation.
the models are being exploited.
Yeah, but Kirby, you have to frame the conversation, right? Even if it is the case that both could be exploited, the current conversation is about men, right? So we could talk about women, but
You could, yeah.
at present we're talking about men. So we have to focus on that.
So we're talking about men, sure, but I'm
Mhm.
saying it's not gender specific. I don't know
We
why
know,
we're
but
talking about men.
but
None of this
Kirby, for
is like
Also,
example,
girlfriend,
let me give you
boyfriend
an
experience.
example. I'm gonna give you an example. If I do mechanical work on a Ford, right, and then I do it on a Honda, they're not the same thing, right? Even if it is true they're both cars and
So it's
I'm a mechanic,
you're saying it's
this
not
is
the
a
same
Honda,
thing. So it's
this
okay
is a
that women
Ford,
are
right?
being
No,
exploited.
because
No, I'm working on the
so
Honda right now. That's what I'm saying, right? So
but
yeah, so the Ford
so
has
this
problems. I'm working on the Honda right
but
now.
they're
You see
both
what I'm saying?
cars. But they're both
Exactly. You
cars,
see what
and
I'm
that's what's
saying?
important. So all my
Mhm.
argumentation, you can
Mhm.
swap the genders, the sexes. It's fine. I
Yeah.
still stand by everything because it's still the same need.
So yeah, so you got
So are
lock
we
in on
getting
men
bigger
right now.
image that we should just ban all porn? Like, what is the
No,
bigger
lock in.
argument
I
here?
could
Lock
make
in.
the
Lock in.
argument for banning
We
porn
could.
absolutely
Yeah,
the
what
same
is
way
the
But
you
look,
argument?
ban
guys,
What's the
casinos.
bigger picture? Like,
I'm
what do you want at the end of the day? Like,
I'll
sure,
let
let's say
Wick
we're
decide whether
exploiting
he wants
everyone.
to
I'll
go
tell you
down
what I want.
that
I
direction.
can
That's a
tell you
separate
exactly what I
direction.
want. I'll tell you exactly what I want right here, right?
Well,
If you
we'll
want
see
to
where
lock in.
Xerxes goes. Yeah.
What I would want is for the service of OnlyFans to be disbanded. Why? Because men want women and women want men. This is a highlight. One, not all,
What
not the
about women
entire,
that
but
want
a
women?
highlight. Well, they're a small percentage, but we can talk about that some other time. The point is,
Their percentage we
overwhelmingly,
don't care about.
they're not the focus right now. You know what I'm saying? Right? Ford, Honda. I'm on the Honda.
It's all about
So
you.
listen, what I'm saying is that like what I would want is the reflection that OnlyFans is showing us is that there are men who have a sexual desire towards women that can't be expressed. And if it can't be expressed on the male side, people forget that it in turn is not being expressed on the female side. If we talk about the male loneliness epidemic, people keep on saying people forget that the population of men and women is roughly the same. As such, if there's a huge amount of men who aren't in relationships, it would in turn mean that women also aren't. So what I'm saying is, if we're looking at the service here of men coming into this and being porn addicted in many different ways, or lonely and trying to foster a specific relationship with the woman, we need to disband this service and actually start trying to
Let's talk
encourage
about that, if I may.
healthy relationships with
There's
men and
actually
women
2 million more
consistently.
women, by the way. 2 million more women than men in the U.S.
So
Let's
if
talk.
that be the case, well, then
I
that
want to
means
reach out to those 2 million women. I would date you if you are.
All 2
yeah.
million.
we're goofed on
You
that
got,
front,
you
aren't
got,
we?
you
Hold on,
got,
if I may.
he has a lot of restrictions on you.
If I may, if I may, because I think this is an interesting question, and I'm curious who would agree with him. Raise your hand if you think that OnlyFans should be banned, just outright banned, dismantled, banned. You shouldn't be able to engage in
No.
this kind of work.
I like dismantled better. I would like a natural. I don't want to
No.
Okay,
I
so
want the
what?
law to come in. I want people to make the choice and be reasonable
Found
and
out
say,
the
No.
we don't
founder is
need
from
this.
England.
That's true,
Yes.
UK.
No, because if you ban OnlyFans, if
man.
you take it away, you're taking. We literally just talked earlier about how OnlyFans it gives like a safety barrier for women who are doing sex work. If you take
Or
that
you can
away,
just
you
have a
take away that
husband.
safety.
Or you can have a
Are
husband.
you
and
One of
he'll
the
protect
oldest
you.
professions.
Just get
Oh,
married,
Sex
stay
work
with
is
your
one
Julie,
of the
husband.
oldest
hold on,
professions.
Xerxes,
She's
You know
let
what I
right.
mean?
Julie
It's just
respond.
a
Let Julie
safer
respond.
space.
Get a fucking
Well,
husband is
Yes.
so ridiculous.
Go ahead, cook. Cook, Julie, cook, Julie.
Ah!
Give me the smoke. Come on, cook. Go ahead.
Yeah, go
That's
ahead.
fucking
Go ahead.
insane. I'm not gonna rely on one singular man to pay for my financials because what if he goes off and decides to fucking cheat on me? Now I'm stuck in a relationship. I've never had a job. I have to rely on
Alimony?
him for my financials. What if he
Child
starts
support?
fucking marital rape or some shit? I can't get out of the
Oh, so
relationship.
there's no ability for a man to be a good person,
So
Julie.
so
He
so
can't
There
hold
love
on,
you.
hold on.
He
absolutely
can't
is,
respect
but
you.
So
He
there
Julie,
can't be a good
absolutely
man.
is. But
So it's
you're
only
so
the worst possible
stop. There
situation, right?
absolutely is the ability for a man to be good in a relationship. But the thing
Mhm.
is I'm not going to. If I have the ability to choose between financially supporting myself through sex
With
work or
one man
relying on a
or
man to
crowdsourcing
pay for my shit,
men.
I'm going to financially support myself.
Were
Well,
those
watch
your
At the
two?
end of the day.
Were those your
crowdsource
two actual
multiple
options?
men.
I'm just curious. Were those your two actual
No,
options?
there's
you
more
said?
options than that, obviously.
No,
But
no,
hold
no,
on,
no.
lock in
I'm
with
just
me.
checking.
Lock in with me.
I'm just checking.
Lock in with me. Lock in with me. Right? You don't want to get married and have a good, fruitful relationship with one man, but you
You're
can
assuming
crowdsource
it's
lots
going to be
of
a
men.
good, fruitful
Oh,
relationship.
no,
You're
you,
assuming
I
that.
got
oh,
married
What,
and
50%
there's
of
honestly,
no,
marriages
recommend.
end in
no way.
divorce?
So
You want me to?
Julie,
I have a 1 in
lock in
2
with me.
chance of getting my ass
Lock in with me.
fucked.
Lock in
No,
with me,
thank
Julie.
you.
Lock in with me.
So
Lock in with me,
grateful
Julie.
that
If
sex work
you
saved me from an
hold
abusive
on,
relationship. Honestly, so
we'll get
grateful
back to
for
that.
that.
Hold on, put a pin in that. We'll get back to that because that's very interesting.
I broke my nail. I'm so angry at you.
So lock in with me for a
Come on
second, right?
now.
Because this is actually pretty fascinating to me. You're telling me that if you crowdsource lots of men, that's fine, that's reasonable, you're safe, you're
Yes.
protected. But if you have a good relationship with one man who cares about you, we're gonna pretend that it's that it could just fall out and explode and just be bad and terrible. You can't court them, you can't date them, you can't talk to them, you can't learn anything about them. It's just totally just flip a coin. Ah, he might be a demon. Is that what you're telling me?
She's using the men within a carefully defined
Precisely.
system
But I
to
want her to
sustain
lock
herself.
in.
Holy
Exactly.
shit.
I want you to lock in.
Could you load it a little more?
Because-
Is that
Yeah,
possible?
lock in.
Could you morally load that a little more?
Marriage
Let
is a
Julie,
much bigger
let Julie
commitment.
respond. Go
Mhm.
ahead.
Marriage is a much bigger commitment than doing
Mhm.
OnlyFans. If I marry a man, I'm tied to him for life.
Oh no. What if he's a good man? What if he loves you?
Okay, and what if the money in my bank account is a good man?
It's not a man. It's currency. That doesn't make sense.
You're
If the
talking
man
about.
is a-
I
Well,
would rather-
hang on.
I would-
Hang
I
on.
would-
pretending.
Hang on. I
This
want to
is
get
what we-
in.
This is what we need. No. Because I need Julie to accept this, right?
No, because this
I'm not
premise
leaving
is
Julie to accept-
stupid on
No,
its face.
It's ridiculous. I'll tell you why this is
Put
ridiculous.
an ad in because
You're
Julie can't defend
operating.
herself. Let
You're
Austin defend her.
operating on the great pretending that you only have a 50-50 shot in the dark of being with a man that is caring and compassionate, and the rest of them are going to be abusive demons. That's absolutely absurd and ridiculous.
What's
Because
absurd and
you
ridiculous is your
actually
premise
said-
on its face in the
I
first
don't
place.
know.
This is
I
the
don't
dumbest
know.
shit I've ever heard in my
Okay.
life.
I just don't want to
Okay.
commit. I
But
just
that's
don't
what
want to
you did.
commit.
Now
If
that's a
I'm- if
different
I'm-
problem.
I want
I
to
don't
And
hear.
that's what you can
Hold on,
say.
Xerxes,
Now, you can
Xerxes,
say
you
that.
made your premise. You made your premise. I want
Mhm.
other people to respond to it. So give me a second. I want to hear Kirby. I want to hear
Please.
Often Topical. I want to hear Cassie. I want to hear everyone, right?
I said often wants to add, so let often.
Yeah, Often. Yeah, that's the order I said. Often, Kirby, Cassie. Go ahead.
So what I take issue with this whole premise that we're putting forth here is that what you are really asking is you keep on kind of sneaking in some stuff like crowdsourcing men and having a lot of men and be dependent on them, when what we're really talking about here is at the end of the day, if you want to divorce the morality of like the sexuality of the job, we're talking about having a job or not having a job and being dependent on a partner.
What is the job?
The job
getting
is
multiple males
selling-
to give you money. That is
The same way
description of
the same way that if you're a streamer, your job
Okay.
is getting multiple
Irrelevant, jump
chatters.
backstage if you want in, irrelevant.
Your
Jump
job
backstage,
as a
jump
streamer
in.
is getting multiple chatters to
Irrelevant
give you
wants to
money.
smoke? It's been a minute.
Is that
It's been a
correct? Am I
minute.
right there?
Hold on.
If you're a streamer, are you crowdsourcing your income from multiple different streamers? Or from multiple different
Multiple
audience
different
members?
fans,
Yeah.
you,
So,
Rick,
and
as
I would
Burger
say
Joint.
that that's just as much a legitimate source of income as anything else. Would you not?
Okay. So the premise.
Just yes or no. Yes or no works. Is it
No.
legitimate to crowdsource your income from fans?
Though it's not about having.
No,
Yes, you have
we
a
can talk
consumer
about.
base. That's not what we're arguing.
We can talk about whether or not. What I'm saying is divorcing your feelings about the actual content itself.
But we can't.
What I'm saying
Their
is,
feelings, because the very principle of what OnlyFans is utilizing the feelings.
you're
of
the one who
individual.
went off
That's
on a
what it
tangent
is.
saying the difference between crowdsourcing your income from a
That-
bunch of men or getting your income from one man. What
I'm
I'm
saying,
saying,
right?
what I'm saying is that's the exact same thing as saying, "Hey, Wick, why don't you quit streaming, quit being a leech and a terrible person, and instead just get a wife to take care of you or a husband?" I don't care what, either or.
Look,
I
hold
got
on,
another point.
hold on,
Absolutely
stop.
the same
I will
Because
take
it's an
that
indictment
deal.
on your
If there's a
character,
woman out there
Wick.
that just
It's an
wants to do my
indictment on
pay
your
for everything,
character.
I would absolutely
I got
take
another
that deal
point.
if you're hot
You guys
enough.
know what,
okay?
fundraising
My DMs are
is?
open. Ladies, please.
You guys are pretend. Okay, again.
You guys
this
know
is
what
the issue that I
fundraising
have
is? You
here.
go to man to man to
Kirby?
man to man, maybe
Mhm.
one woman, and then you're trying to raise
OnlyFans
money.
is
Kirby.
also the same
Nobody's
as
pretending anything, but you can keep on saying that kind of stuff and keep on making slides to act like your bad
Okay,
points are
enough,
such
enough,
great
enough, enough, enough.
points.
One at a time, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time.
Let me lock in with Kirby
finish.
for a
Let
second.
Kirby finish. Let Kirby finish.
Let
Go ahead.
Kirby finish and then lock in with me. Go
In
ahead.
the context of what we're talking about is what we're like crowdfunding in a way is like your same thing with raising money.
OnlyFans
that
is not
like,
crowdfunding.
if you-
Crowdfunding is a
lock
specific
in.
thing.
no, but
OnlyFans
that
is
was
not
the
crowdfunding.
context of what
Okay,
we were
lock
just
in.
talking about.
Lock in, because you guys completely missed
There are
the actual
campaigns
premise.
where you can
So
crowdfund
first,
on OnlyFans.
So first, let me first dismantle this, and then let me focus it. All right. So here's the first dismantling. Right, selling chocolate is not the same as selling an intimate service. They are not the same thing.
Intimate
It
service.
may
You
be
keep saying
what you're
keep
trying to do.
talking
Let me
about talking.
dismantle it. Hold
Yes,
on.
the
I'm gonna
original
dismantle it. Hold on.
original goal maybe
Hold
would
on.
be like
Hold on.
connection,
Let me
but now
dismantle it.
it's not that
Hold
anymore.
on. Hold
It's
on. Hold on.
changed.
Hold on. I'm gonna
When I go to
dismantle
the
this.
gynecologist,
Let me tell you why.
that's pretty intimate.
So let me first.
Just
So let me
saying.
first dismantle this, right?
Amazon sold only books at 1st
Mhm.
Look where it is now.
Well, exactly, right? So here's the thing. Commerce, right, where I'm selling a material, or I'm selling a book, is not the same thing as selling the service of intimacy to someone. They are
That's
not the
what
same.
you're not
Yes. Are you
understanding. You're
exchanging
not
money?
understanding.
Yes,
You're
we
not.
understand.
You
You're
said the
exchanging money.
service was
It's not the
originated.
same
You said
thing.
the service is originated with
Hmm.
selling intimacy, but it's
Hmm.
changed by now. It, by the way, it's
It hasn't though. I
from
can't. I
where
can't
it
accept
came
that
from
premise.
to where it is now. It's something different.
It
So
isn't.
Amazon, the
That's the
reason I brought
problem.
up commerce or the books is because
Hmm.
it's completely changed. It's not
Okay.
the same anymore.
So
Okay.
even
To
I
Okay.
will
only
Before
accept
selling
before you go
books.
Amazon,
on,
but
stop,
it's not.
Swifty. I understand. I understand. You got a
Mhm.
lot to say. I understand. But we got other
See,
people in. I want to hear them. And things like irrelevant welcome. You wanted in. That's time to shine, brother. Go ahead.
in a minute.
It has been a minute,
In
brother.
a minute, eh?
Hey, it's good to see you again.
That's true, ain't it?
Back up to the old antics.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
so yes. I feel like we had a similar conversation at
We
some
did.
point. Yeah,
Probably.
a while ago. Oh yeah, a couple of conversations. Listen, man. I'm curious where you're at with this whole like no. It feels like you're getting into the idea of like a homemaker thing. The anti OnlyFans just like rely on a guy, and I'm curious exactly where your head lies
I'll
on
tell you
that.
what my principal point is this, right? If the idea is that we are selling a relationship or intimacy to men, then what we're actually doing is looking at the misappropriation or the negative reflection of society. As such as to say, what we're looking at when we see men funneling to OnlyFans, and to a lesser extent, just to add in some details, AI chatting bots, is an inability to have relationships with women. If men aren't with women, that means women aren't with men, right? So we have these two ships missing each other in the night. So I say if we get rid of OnlyFans, right? Obviously, it's not the only problem, but if we remove that, we dismantle that, we can have people who are married, working with each other, caring about each other, and good relationships. Now, what Julie responded with is that, oh no, what if I get abused? I say, well, hold on. You can choose the individual you marry. What are you talking about? What if
So
you get abused?
stupid. That's so dumb. You can choose the individual and they can still become abusive. That's so fucking
Just
retarded.
randomly. So just randomly. There's no
No,
telltale
you can
signs. There's no
vet someone
dating.
for years. You can vet someone for years, and the minute you get
Mhm.
married, they can switch up and start being
So we
fucked.
Are you
teach us that.
suggesting that every single person who finds
I'm
themselves
never
in an
financially
abusive
relying on anyone.
relationship
Fuck that.
is to blame for being in that relationship? They should have known better.
They should have
Is
seen
is
the
that is
sign.
that is
I'm
that
not
your
addressing
point?
that.
No, he was abusive from the beginning. It's my
Stop.
fault.
Or will you not answer
I
that
got into a
because, oh, I'm not
relationship
talking to
with
him
a
actually, I'm talking to Julie,
shit
so
is
I'm not going to
dumb as
answer that
fuck.
question. Just answer the question. Is every single
No.
person who's in an abusive relationship at fault?
No, I'm not answering that question.
I know you wouldn't, because it's a stupid thing to say,
I want you
but
to
it's the
address the
logical
actual
conclusion
essence
of
of
what
what
you're
I'm saying.
saying.
Because watch this. Let's play this out logically, and you see how foolish this is, right?
Okay, show me how foolish it is.
You are pretending that there aren't any telltale signs or understandings of an individual, and they switch on a dime.
Oh my
This is
That they
god.
just
You have
So
no understanding.
so then
this is a
answer the
completely
question. It
different
sounds
panel.
like
This is
you're going back to what we were talking about earlier about the
Now-
for me personally and how that's pussyfooting around, and that's what you're doing right now. You're saying that every single person who's in an abusive relationship is to blame for being in that relationship,
saying every
but you
single
won't go ahead and own it with your chest.
I don't believe that, so I'm not going to own it. I also you're missing.
Well,
the
you won't
principle
answer
of
it. So
point
the
I'm
answer is no. Then
So, okay,
that they're
watch
not
this.
to blame.
No. So I want you
Wonderful.
to actually lock
Great.
in with me, and I want you to listen. I want you to actually address the principle of what I'm saying. Why are we pretending that the only options is either 50-50, this person is good, this person will abuse me?
Nobody's
Why are we
saying it's
pretending?
50-50.
That is the
When did anybody when did
made.
Julie say that it was a
I didn't
coin
say
flip?
that.
Okay,
I
okay,
didn't say
okay,
that.
Ning, stop.
I did not say
Now
that.
you're arguing with ghosts. You're arguing with
I didn't
phantoms.
say
There's
that.
nobody
That's
in
how
here
you
who
interpret
ever
it.
said it's
That's not how-
50-50.
That's not what I said.
Hey,
You
Wick is
said
I
we
think
got a
Wick is trying to
50%.
I'm trying to
interrupt.
moderate. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
moderate.
Wick is
I'm
trying
about
to
to start muting if I have to. Okay, but
Don't do me.
right.
Don't lock me up, man.
I want to make sure. I want to
Help
make
me.
sure that everyone gets a chance. Everyone gets a chance to
Let me
talk.
get a
I know
turn or something.
cohort wants to talk. I
Yeah.
know irrelevant wants to talk. I know Cassie wants to talk. That's the order we're gonna go in right now. Cohort, irrelevant.
Yeah. So
Wait,
I
shouldn't
think
we get irrelevant to like introduce himself and all that?
Yeah, who is
Yeah.
this?
Roman, who
Fucking
are
Exactly.
you?
Sarah.
We know who he is.
I'm a longtime friend of Wick. Okay, Brendan.
True.
All right.
One
If
of
you
the
don't
few
know who
people
I
I've broken
am,
bread with. Okay.
you need to watch the old tapes, the old footage from Wick TV. Okay, if you don't know who I am. All
Fair
right. No, I did want to bring up a point though, because when you had explained your position, sorry, what is your Xerxes? Xerxes, is that your name? Xerxes? Okay, because I think you went by a different name when we talked before. But
Fast Up easy. Yeah, just my YouTube name probably.
gotcha. Well, one thing that you had addressed earlier is you were talking about intimate. That OnlyFans was kind of downstream of an issue that we're having with like loneliness or something missing for
A
a lot of
reflection.
people.
Yes.
Yeah. So then, just logically, is your point that if people were not like lonely or missing something, that there would be no porn?
No, it'd be no OnlyFans. Pornography,
I'm
perhaps,
sorry,
but even
what?
then, pornography and OnlyFans are two different things. I tried to separate that earlier. So the principal purpose of OnlyFans is to curate a conversation or an experience or friendship relationship with a creator. Pornography is a whole thing of multiple different categories, from hentai to softcore to hardcore, all that goofiness, right? So those aren't the same thing.
You would say
So the
hentai first.
dismantling of OnlyFans doesn't necessarily mean we've dismantled pornography. That's a separate conversation, I feel, right? Which we could be having at a
Okay.
later date, but
So,
you know,
so
OnlyFans is
wouldn't
just a
couldn't
platform, though.
yeah? Couldn't
Just
you
like
just
Twitter and
argue?
anything else.
Couldn't you just argue then that you wouldn't? Do you think speaking with somebody at all is the issue with OnlyFans, or what specifically is the issue with OnlyFans?
the issue with OnlyFans is the parasocial relationship that gets created between an individual who is selling sexuality and intimacy to someone that has a deficit. That's the problem. The marketing,
Well,
the
what I'm
principal
asking
nature
you
of
is
the app.
how is that problematic? Is it because they're speaking to them at all?
Yes and no. So
Okay.
there's
Before
a
we go,
pretending.
yeah, answer the question. But after you
Mhm.
answer the question, I do want cohort to get in because cohort.
So
yeah.
the idea here would be to try to liken this as any normal conversation or friendship like you and I would be having, but it's not. You and I aren't trying to have an intimate relationship. We're trying to debate a point. But if I were to try to have an intimate relationship with some lady, it changed. The dynamic is completely changed, and I know you understand that because obviously that's what courtship is. So you have a pseudo form of courtshipping that's taking advantage of a deficit that an individual has. That's the nature of the platform. So hopefully I answered your question.
Okay, well, Wick, do you want this other
Uh,
person to get in, or should I?
I do because cohorts
Okay.
kind of has the same take as Xerxes. And
I
I'll let
mean,
you address
me and
both.
Xerxes are linked up. So if you're boxing with him, you might be boxing with me too. But
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Well, we actually were diverging a bit because I wouldn't have brought up. While me and him agree with a lot about the power of both the family unit, the men and women using each other, being with each other, loving each other, all that, and that being a much more salubrious and a reasonable way to direct your attention than OnlyFans. Um, I wouldn't bring it up as like this alternative of like go do that instead of OnlyFans,
Well, that's
right?
not what
But
I was doing either. I was answering what did I
So
want.
let
I
cohort
think
go. Let
that's
To
how
be
cohort go.
clear,
Let him
that's
get
what I
in.
was
that's how it
doing.
landed. That's how it landed, and then that's what the back and forth ended up kind of being. Maybe
Okay.
maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't until
Yeah,
the
well
end.
then
But
for clarity, I'm not saying in lieu of. I'm saying what
yeah,
do I
yeah,
want?
yeah. No, I'm
Which is
with
two
you.
different
I'm with
things.
you. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
with you. But my thing is the exploitation angle that I laid out are relevant just for your reference was there among your hierarchy of needs, one of those things is often going to be freedom from loneliness, right? Companionship,
Yep.
intimacy, relationships of that nature, right? And these men, especially when we're talking about the girlfriend experience, but again, anything similar to that as well. So both the girlfriend experience you get through OnlyFans, but then also the one that you get through Twitch that is um, less openly stated, but obviously viewed, and we all know about it. Um, I view that largely as unhealthy. I believe there is good reason to view it as unhealthy, and I believe the exploitation is obvious because there is a need on the man's part. He's trying to satisfy this need for connection, for intimacy, right? And this is an easy and streamlined way for him to get it, but it is not the same thing as the full experience that he would probably much rather have either with, for example, the woman on the screen or maybe some other streamer or OnlyFans model that he's a fan of. Now, that exploitation in and of itself, the idea of exploiting a consumer is not rare, is not specific to OnlyFans. I think what I do, because when I think of things morally, right, a lot of times I think about, you know, harm, right, harm reduction, harm increase, utility, right, good, common, or otherwise. I have at least a framework in my head of how I analyze whether things are right or wrong, right? You know, Zoshi, for example, is a Christian, so he has maybe some of the same things I have, but then also more of an objective standard on that side, right? But so my point is that's what I'm looking at these things from. I'm thinking about in the descriptive, what kind of man, right? Which men are reaching out for this service and why? And how does the service affect them? And then by extension, how does it affect the world? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree pretty readily that the girlfriend experience is typically consumed by men, or at least I would have it a guess that it's typically consumed at men who want a girlfriend-like experience because they're lacking some measure of that inside of their personal life, and there's probably not a super easy way to engage with that in a healthy manner. So I'd probably give the idea that the girlfriend experience is in most cases going to be exploitative and shouldn't be done. But it sounds like we're extending this even beyond that to OnlyFans in general.
Well, I'll be honest with you. No one could with a counter argument. You all just kind of agreed there might be degree of separations of exploitation, but it is exploitation. So it looks like I was right at the top.
What do you mean cook with the counter argument though? That's what I'm confused about.
Counter argue that this is
Counter
not
argument.
an exploitation against young men.
Yeah, but no, it's like
I have the best
it's
counter
not
argument.
necessarily a counter argument. It's just
Julie
like
has the best
it's
counter
like
argument.
Capitalism is exploitation. So like,
No, I
I'm
don't
sorry,
think
like
that.
yes, we're capitalizing on everything
We're
possible,
doing the
but
thing again.
that's
We're
exploitation.
conflating
Okay,
again. We're
Julie,
conflating
do you
again.
have a
Exactly.
better?
No,
Hold on,
she's
Joel,
right.
stop,
She's
stop,
right.
stop, stop,
She's
stop, stop,
completely
stop,
right.
stop. Please stop, Julie. Do you have a better counter argument than capitalism is exploitation?
It's more so a troll, so probably not. But I was gonna say that these men that are being exploited by OnlyFans are so stupid, ugly, and retarded that actually it's charity that I'm letting them talk to such an attractive.
Is that
woman
right?
like
That's why
me.
they pay you money? It's charity. Oh, well, you're trolling. So.
I'm done.
I took the
He
bait.
did
My
say
bad.
it was a
Wait,
troll.
wait, wait. How much is
I
your
did say
OnlyFans,
it.
Hold
Julie?
on.
That is not
Julie,
my
how much is your
take.
I'm
OnlyFans?
giving out
Dumb.
charity.
Julie, how much is your OnlyFans?
But
It was a troll. It was a troll. I was trolling.
you're trolling.
Please.
Wait,
Yeah.
no, you're supposed
Just
to say how much your
trolling.
OnlyFans is.
Joke.
Or was it going to be a joke?
I don't know.
Cassie, you had something to say? You want to get in here? Go ahead, and then I have something to maybe guide us a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So, I feel like you guys are mostly painting things with a broad brush. I would say that the male loneliness epidemic is partially due to the way that men interact with each other, as well as just people in general struggle with intimacy and relationships, and that's not exclusive to because women are exploiting men. I feel like there's been a lot of I'm gonna take the feminist stance, but there's been a lot of exploitation towards women over most of history, and I think we're kind of seeing like a little bit of a pendulum swing from that. That being said,
Not a
people do
little bit.
have difficulties. People do have difficulties navigating intimate relationships. So if people want to like microdose that in some kind of way where they only want to do it digitally for a while as they get to know themselves better, they learn how to have intimate conversations. I think that it could be beneficial in some context for some people. Same being said with if people want to hire a sex worker in a place where that is legal to do so.
This is like saying that people take
I
hard
think-
drugs so they can learn
yeah.
proper syringe use. That's not.
That's
No.
no. You're just comparing OnlyFans to streamers, so you can't make that comparison because that's not a good comparison.
Yeah, but if the
No,
individual has a
no.
porn addiction,
What I
the addictive
just
quality
no,
is
no, no, no,
important.
no. What I just said wasn't. I can explain to you why. So
I'll
you
jump
took
on that too.
something- You took something that involves some other. It's okay. So the hard drugs involves, let's say, using syringes. In the process of using hard drugs, you will become well acquainted with using syringes. But it would be foolish to imply that people would ever go after using hard drugs, or at least a good amount of people go after using hard drugs, so they can familiarize themselves with medical tech. In a similar way, most men are not going to engage in OnlyFans or a similar service so that they can titrate human interaction. But even if they were, I would say that would be a terrible way to build social skills. To think that you
So
can
I have a
start
follow-up
by
question though.
subscribing.
What defines the girlfriend experience? Like, where does it cross the line between being friendly with people and it being like a full-blown girlfriend experience? Does that have to be communicated? Or if I ask people like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" Like, I hope you're doing well, and I send them love. Is that the girlfriend experience,
No,
or is
it's an
that a different
entire
thing?
performance. Yeah, no, the
Are
girlfriend.
they
If,
paying you
if I
for it?
understand exactly, if someone like me,
Not
like
necessarily.
before me and my
Well, they're
friend
not paying you for it.
got on here,
It's
I
not
did
right.
a little bit of research. There's this one lady who charged $850 a week for a girlfriend experience. It's just on
You're
OnlyFans, right?
saying
Which is just
don't bring up a
absurd.
singular point, but you keep bringing up like one example.
Well, I how
Bring up
many examples
majority
do I
then. If
need
you
to
want to
bring
make the
up?
point, bring up majority.
I can't do that. I'm sorry.
I know you can't.
That's
That's the point.
that's not how a conversation works. I don't have
You're bringing up the
150,000.
singular points to make
So I'm bringing up
your
a
argument,
person.
and
So I'm
you're not.
bringing a
How about this?
example
I
to
think
bolster the
I
point
think
that I'm
we
about
can,
to make.
we can maybe I'll make a statement here. This is my thoughts, and maybe we can wrestle with this and chew on this, and maybe this will get us somewhere. I hope, right? And maybe not. I think that regardless of individual creators either being using the system more exploitatively or less exploitatively, which we can all imagine, there are creators who are better and there are creators who are worse. I think that the nature of the OnlyFans experience is in and of itself exploitative in such a way that I think that people should not engage with it, either as creators.
Do you feel the
or as
same way about pornography?
Yes.
Okay.
You could
Yes.
just die on that hill.
Do
Anybody
you feel
being
the same
consistent
way about
would.
taking your shirt off for a donator?
I do not think that that is the same. They understand.
Why?
I think
Like,
it's
if I
closer to
showed
being the
my
same than it
nipples,
should
I
if
get
you
paid.
like
Like, what if a woman did that?
My
you okay with
nipples
that?
are not the same as your nipples. Let's be
Not
real.
true.
Why?
City, Boulder,
Not true.
Colorado, where you can legally be
Because
topless
one's
as a woman,
sexualized,
okay?
one's not.
Do
Like, come on.
do
Hold
not
on.
go
I
there.
sexualize
No,
my
are you
nipples
guys
all the
seriously
time.
arguing
Hold on.
that
Yeah,
if
exactly.
I look, and you would understand this, I can say $50 to take my shirt off, and no one blinks an eye. But if I said $50 to take Julie's shirt off, everyone would have problems with that.
Wick,
Why?
He's right.
are
Why?
you
They
are
would
you
not
saying
react
so?
to
Why
that.
would they have an issue?
They would be excited. There would be no issues.
There are
If you were
cities,
There would actually
Wick.
be
They'd be like,
excitement.
let's go.
There are cities, Wick, where it is completely legal and completely acceptable
In Canada,
for
in
women to
BC,
be
it's legal
topless.
to be topless as a woman.
Are these cities just dens of absolute depravity
Yeah,
and
my
sin
Portland, they have
because
a naked bike
there
ride.
are lady nipples
in
in
BC.
public?
Wick, the difference I think you're trying to
Make a bike
outline
ride on the OnlyFans.
is the okay. So you taking your shirt off. Let's say overall, right? Overall,
Wait,
for
Hold
most
on.
people here.
Say anyone-
Let's
don't
stop
say me.
because I'll let you go in a second, cohort.
Yeah.
But are we seriously suggesting that a man that is shirtless is the same as a woman that is shirtless? It's not.
According to the law in Boulder, Colorado, and other places,
There,
yes.
the law is mistaken there.
I think that's a
Right,
you
they
thing.
changed it.
Whoa,
They
are you
changed it for
sexualizing
equality's
women,
sake.
Wick?
Yes.
What's wrong with
Don't
you?
we all?
Not inherently sexual. You're sexualizing them.
Wait, so
Yeah,
Kev-
the
so Kevin,
suggestion
so-
that a
so- so
woman's
Kevin-
body is inherently sexual just by
sexualize
existing.
a
Call
woman
me
breastfeeding?
catnip?
There-
You said
I'm
one of
calling
us
her
said my
catnip.
face.
I
No,
think
he's
it
calling
sounds
the
like
those
person's
two
name.
So
catnip.
I'm
we gotta
calling
have
Catnip
to do
Kevin.
one at a time because I
My
can't
bad.
hear you
But, okay,
all.
Sorry.
I do not think nipples are sexualized the same way I would not sexualize a woman breastfeeding. Nipples are sexualized if you are engaging in a sexual context, but I don't think nudity in it of itself is sexual or explicit. That's
You
my
don't
Do
think
you
take.
think
that's
most
disingenuous,
people
though?
do you, no wait, hold on. So do you think
I-
most people think that way, or do you think
I
you're
disagree.
maybe more unique?
I
than
think
I think
nudity
most
and
people would call a woman a whore if she was topless, but I think that's something that probably needs to shift in society because that's not indicative of that, and women should be allowed to.
I would not.
Like,
Yeah, I would not
Are
be a
we
fan.
talking
I
about?
wouldn't.
wait,
I wouldn't be a fan of
Are
a
we
woman
talking
being called
about?
a whore just for that.
Okay.
if
we-
okay.
Irrelevant.
Are we talking about?
irrelevant. Go ahead.
Are we talking about what is or what ought be? Which one are we
What
talking
is?
about?
I'm saying
We're-
what ought
we're
be.
being-
There
we're
might be
being
laws or
descriptive now.
something, but I think it ought be, right? It ought be
I-
because of the well. See, there's two levels to this. One is one I'm saying it is, and one I'm saying it ought. So the is statement that I'm making is that women topless are viewed in a very different way, at least in Western cultures, than and all cultures that I can think of off the top of my head, right? I'm sure there might be a thing where women being topless is seen as explicitly sexual in a way that men are not.
Should
That's
it be?
my is statement. My ought statement is that because that is, we ought not treat it the same.
I mean, does anybody
So,
disagree with
I
the
would-
idea that currently in our as it exists that women being topless is different than men being topless? I don't think anybody's going
I
to
think yeah, you wouldn't be engaging in reality to say otherwise.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
To the
in
degree
most
they're
places, yes,
different.
but in most places, you would get put in prison for having something like cannabis. But there's states like Colorado that have legalized cannabis because they realize putting people in prison for it is immoral. The same way that
I think
Boulder,
it's
Colorado has
culturally
determined
dependent.
that putting someone in
Well,
jail is immoral.
Can I share a
for
point?
having boobs.
Go, Kirby.
If people, how do I say this? If for women it's like no longer sexualized at all, like I feel like honestly it might backlash on women. Like that really sucks for a lot of women.
I would say that
You can't
is
make money off your tits anymore.
the,
No,
No,
that's
I
not what
heard
it
sex
but
workers
no,
have that
like
too, so they
men
don't
will
want
just
that to be legal
like
for
being
that
less.
reason.
If it's just a normal, like if it's like an elbow, it's gonna be like.
so I would say
that's
obviously
Some dudes like elbows.
obviously the is that yes, there is culturally speaking a difference between a man being topless and a woman being topless. I think anybody who would disagree with that is not
sexualization.
not yeah
Not
is,
sexualization, but like breastfeeding and stuff like that. Yeah, it's,
well yeah
like,
I mean
human nature.
there are like one-off top, and I'm not what I'm saying is I'm not saying that this
Yeah,
ought
but
to be
this
the
is-
case. But what
no,
my
this is
point is,
disingenuous.
hang on. My point is, we're not engaging in reality if we say that they are not different. In our current cultural society, or the way that our culture is, they are different, obviously, at least in Western society. The two are different. Now, the question is, should they be? I think no. I think the idea of a woman's body being inherently sexual just by existing, it's kind of fucking gross. But that is what we're at right now. But the society that I would like to see is one where that's not the case. So I think with the is versus ought, that's where we're at.
That isn't the distinction that Wick actually should be alluding to.
No, I was
So-
saying we're so channeling off right now.
Yeah, because I do want to say, like, when it comes to Wick taking the shirt off, so to my opinion, that is closer to being the same thing as
OnlyFans.
anybody else that was, hey, give me $50 to take your shirt off. The same thing. But the only difference you might be able to say is, well, Wick isn't taking it off at the request of a sexually charged audience, as you may be able to say almost
you know that?
definitively he would be.
How
So
would you know
I was gonna get to
I'm gonna
that.
take a
Anything,
guess.
That's why I said.
comedy.
That's why I said you
The
only
guy who
might
sent me
be
for my
able.
feet
You
just
only
really
might be
wanted
able
to
to
see my
say.
pedicure.
But if the person that super chatted the 50, they could have like the Vaseline out.
Yeah,
Right now.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in that
You don't
case,
know.
what is the difference?
And
What is
that,
the
that,
actual
that
difference?
that's
Give
the
you the
whole
context.
point with this whole context is like we don't know the OnlyFans subscribers. We don't know like Twitch subscribers. We don't know any of these people.
If I gave you $100, if I give you $100
Like
and said here,
they
you
can
guessed
chat like they
correctly.
can chat and say all they want, but we don't actually know like what's going on behind the
Kirby,
scenes. That's
can I
like
ask you a
the
question?
online barrier.
Correct.
that
I'm going to
part
ask you a question. Then we are
Sure.
going to get to some super chats, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up here. But
Sure.
Kirby, if I asked you, and I said, if you get this question right, I'm gonna give you $100. I'm not really. This is a hypothetical. Yeah.
Got really excited.
But if you get this question right, I would give you $100, hypothetically. Okay.
Sure.
Hypothetical $100. And I asked you, which do you think it's more likely for the request for a shirt being taken off to be sexually charged? Do you think it's more likely in my chat right now with the $50, or do you think it would be more likely to be sexually charged in OnlyFans?
To be fair, of course, OnlyFans.
Of course, OnlyFans.
Because most likely they're going to be
course,
naked, but at the same
OnlyFans.
time,
I don't know.
I
Some
think
TikTok
it
shows
may
are
be
wild.
true,
it's more likely percentage-wise,
point here.
sure, but
but we are dealing with likelihoods here. We make laws based on
But
likelihoods.
don't you
We
understand
base
that we've this
moral
whole
things-
conversation for like the past 2 hours, we've talked about like situations that have happened.
Kirby, me and you are actually locked in on this one. The reason why, let me tell you why. So one thing I was outlining before is this idea of context and switching to context, right? For example, you're at a work meeting, right? Would it be appropriate for anybody there to start undressing, to be in a state of undress? We would say no, right? Why do we know that?
Depends
Because
on where
different
you work.
venues. Yeah, but yeah, that's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. I kind of made the.
He's trying to
made
say
the
context,
implicit,
but
yeah, the
there's
implicit thing
also
is like
social
it's in the
like
office, yeah.
what's socially acceptable. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
also
so-
what
so-
contributes. So like in Korea, might not be socially acceptable to hear. Like there's
Yeah.
very big differences, right?
So that's true, but
So
also like
how society progresses and things like that, that's why I think it's ridiculous that we're trying to place all these strange like thresholds on OnlyFans, because
but then
like the progress of over time from porn. Like women are in power now. Why are we mad about it?
wait, so there was another conflation there. So because I think we agree, but then there's like some point where we diverge. Because like Wick is going out of his way to change the context of his stream when he takes his shirt off. This is a panel where we are all engaging in discourse. And if all of a sudden I say, "Hey, send me $50 and I'll take my clothes off," something has happened there. And one thing I don't like
You're
when
saying
people do
Wick
this.
is an OnlyFans.
Well, hold on.
So,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying.
So what I'm
Hey,
trying to
hey,
no wait, there's something fundamental I want you to understand, because look, it's like we need to be able to recognize that there is a difference between, let's say Wick just did that today. Let's say he's never did it before, right? For example, up until this point, he has been a debate streamer, but now he's like,
I do have it's a standing joke on my
I know
channel.
that
Yeah,
is. That's what I'm saying.
that's what I'm saying.
Let's
Go ahead.
let's
No, I wanna
pretend
hear
like
that.
it's
I
not.
want him-
I'm saying let's
now
pretend like
I
it's
want him
not.
to-
So up
I
until this
want
point,
the
he was a
finish.
debate streamer. Now
Yeah.
all of a sudden, he says, "Hey, if you donate $10, I'll take this off. $20, I'll take this off. $30, I'll take this off. $40, I'll take this." Something has changed. That change is relevant and important, and it means something both for the audience, those that engage. There's all these new questions now, and the context itself, maybe
But,
even
like,
the genre or subgenre of what he does is different. Is what I'm
But
saying.
you don't know them personally, so why does it matter? It's
because
let's say
there is
let's say
something.
you're
hold on.
talking to this girl online. Let's say you're watching her stream and you love her content. She's only playing games, but behind the scenes she is a full on like prostitute. Why would it change that you like maybe could like trickle into her personal life? You liked her before. Oh, just because her personal decisions are like affecting how you perceive her? Like why does that matter anymore? Isn't
Well,
that
that's
like kind of
kind of
crazy?
reasonable.
You liked her
No, no,
before.
no,
That's the
hold on,
main
hold on,
point.
What?
hold on.
So
I-
let me
we're
ask you,
kinda
Kirby,
going off the
Kirby,
beaten
if you
path, though.
found out, right, that there was this guy you liked, okay, and you're hitting it off, and then you find out, oh, he's also a heroin
No,
dealer.
the guy you liked is different
Well, hold on.
than a Twitch chatter. This is
Well,
that's where
hold
it
on. We're
goes
going
into
off the
the
beaten path. I
parasocial
think we're going to.
activity.
Hold on. I
That's
think we're
where it
going
goes
off the
into
beaten path.
parasocial.
Because I think I understand what cohort is saying, right? And I want to add something a little bit too, right? So like
I do gotta
as
get
I understood, I understand. So let me try to land this real fast. If I understand correctly, the shirt off thing is a joke, and the commenter understands that this is for a comedic effect. This isn't to be sexually charged nor to sexually entice. But we all know, and you're being disingenuous if you disagree, that when a woman takes her shirt off, it is sexually implicit. We all
And it also
understand that, right?
potentially
If I'm
could
breastfeeding
be
my kid,
for
that's
Wick
not sexual, and if you
is also
sexualize that, that's
relevant
weird.
too.
But that's my issue. You pretended that's
If you
weird,
take your
but
top
we
off, I'm
live,
gonna be uncomfortable as well.
we exist, and we live through society. And to be honest, you might be raising against
It's
the machine
because
on
of
this one,
social
because
standards.
exactly right. Because like if I were to spit game on this chat, right? Let's say I legitimately wanted to spit some game, right? You would all understand, right, that I have some sexual desire. Those are just words. Those are just words. Those are just words. But if a woman took her shirt off, we're supposed to pretend that that's not sexual. The words are sexual, but the action isn't. That doesn't make sense. So if we understand the context, we understand, the reality of the world we live in, where there's a sexual implicitness to women stripping versus a man taking their shirt off is comedic.
No, stop.
You know,
I'm not gonna let that
Is
run.
there
If I started
sexual
stripping right
explicit?
now,
Mhm.
and we did a poll of everyone that had to watch me strip randomly in the middle of a panel, most of them would not be like, "Well, he was a man, so that's not sexual." That's not what they would
Actually,
say.
I think I think it is actually what they would say.
What do you want the
And in
girl's
fact, I think
response to be?
it's peculiar.
Can you
I
tell
think
me
you're right. Here's the thing.
what is the responses?
There is something
What's the
interesting about
options
that.
here?
So there is something interesting in that. I actually think most people wouldn't view males with their shirts off as sexual.
You said
When maybe it
stripping.
should be.
That's
Right?
why I was responding to stripping.
Oh, stripping.
Yeah.
I guess maybe. Well, see, that's funny, right? If I say So think about language, right? If I say strip, we all understand that there's a sexual connotation to that, right? Versus take your clothes off.
Unless you're
So
stripping wood or
again,
something, like words have multiple meanings.
but that's the whole word though, right? So you've used the same word in a different context. Now that is just grammar class. But we all understand, right, that there's a different context. To pretend that we don't get that, I
also
think
the
it's
intention
disingenuous,
that
right?
matters. It's
Let
the
me-
intention and the perception that matters, though, because, like, say, like, XQC bites his toenails on stream or whatever.
Okay.
He's biting his toenails.
Here's the
So
deal.
you could sexualize that, but it's, like, the way it's done. Like, if a woman
But
I'm
is,
gonna
is
like,
have
he-
to throw
I
a
don't
flag
know,
on the
licking
play,
her
gang.
feet, like,
Here's
it's a
what's
different
gonna
context.
happen.
It's not inherently sexual.
Yeah, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna lightning round these super chats.
Go.
And I see you guys backstage. I see you in chat. If you want me to keep going, you got to pay me money. I'm not gonna do this for
Can we
fucking.
get some
Wait,
money
you
in
people
here?
backstage.
If you want people,
There's so many. They can
I
be
know.
dragged over. They
I
donate
understand,
money.
but I'm not gonna do it for free. If you want me to
Oh.
open this up to do an open panel after we get closings and stuff, we can. But I'll need $100 by the time I'm done with these super chats.
100,
$100
like
bucks.
all
Yep.
This is
together.
absolutely exploitation.
You are fin-doming the
That's not
shit out of your chat right
exploitation.
now.
Don't do it
No,
like
this
Yeah,
is-
that is
I'm not-
100%
There
what
is
this
a
is.
I
social
do not
They
work
responsibility
for
with
desperately
free.
need
No, it
someone to
isn't.
talk
ladies
to right
and
now. They're
gentlemen.
lonely. What do you mean?
Hold
I do
on,
not
hold
work
on.
for free.
No,
Okay,
exactly.
here's the deal. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, $5 from RV to say don't forget the backstage. I didn't forget you, buddy. $5 from DJ Nuts. For the OnlyFan creators, if you find out that your man pays 50 to 100 on OnlyFans, I'm assuming for other women, does that make them more or less attractive in your eyes?
I would break up with them.
Why?
Why are you giving another woman money? You're giving
Okay.
me money.
Hold on, but a
An
whole bunch
idiot.
of men give you money, so I don't know.
So
Bro.
I'm not giving my money to a whole bunch of other men. I'm getting money from men, and I'm giving that money to him. So why is he giving his
Hey.
money to other women?
It's just like rules for me, but not for
Whoa.
It's
you.
not. It's not. But it's not though. It's not.
What an
difficult.
absolute hellscape.
If he,
moral
no, it's
framework.
not because
That's
if
not
he,
even
no,
close
it's
to the
not,
same
because if
thing.
he had an OnlyFans and he was getting money from a bunch of women or men, I wouldn't give a fuck as long as he was spending that money on me. If he's going on his way to spend his money on other women, not acceptable. Just like it wouldn't be acceptable for me to spend my money on
Well,
other
let me
men.
ask you a question. If you knew one of
Man,
your
I'm never
fans
getting
had a
paid.
girlfriend and was giving you money, would you block them?
Hey,
Would
y'all
you
gotta
charge
let,
them back
y'all
and
gotta
block
let
them?
Wick cook a little
Yes,
bit more.
get out of my
This
shit.
is exactly the same as
Okay,
saying
if we're gonna have a whole debate on a super chat, it's gotta be more from $5.
you
We're not
wouldn't
gonna
be okay with an
$5.
open relationship for you, but you're okay with other people having it. How dare you, you hypocrite?
If you
$2.
don't shut, I'm sorry.
$2.
No, go on.
What?
No.
My answer.
Oh,
Yo.
$2 from DJ Nuts. Oh, motherfucker. Thank you for the $100. I guess we're doing opens after. Okay.
Let's go.
DJ Nuts for $2. Cass, what if my kink is vanilla and eye contact?
Like an
Wait,
open
what?
relationship, right?
Was that one meant for Julie? Because Julie said
I
she
think it was
didn't
meant
do
Yeah.
for me
kinks.
because I'm a kink
Yeah.
shamer.
Yeah.
Oh.
First,
First of all, not knowing who Julie's name is. Okay.
Insanity. Get
red
out of
flag.
here.
Red flag.
Big kink shamer. How could you do that? You want eye contact? You're fucking so disgusting. Get away from me.
Freak.
Okay.
Yeah, but even you know that there's some
Can I answer
sexuality
the
in
We're
that,
gonna have
right?
an open
If
panel
your
after we
partner
can
bought
discuss it
So
after.
gross.
Well,
I'm
let me
not
get through. I
interested
got a
at
lot of
all.
super chats. I got a
Ew.
lot of super chats. We gotta get
Just real quick, I didn't get to answer the question for me though. If my partner bought content, it would depend on our finances, and I would want it to be like a collaborative thing. I would want to also participate in tipping the model.
I would never buy OnlyFans content. That's so stupid.
Okay, $50 from
I
Psychonaut. I
agree,
got you,
Jim.
Wick. This was for the shirt. DJ Nuts paid me another $50 to take the shirt back off. Beautiful. $2 from Edmund. No message. These are the best kind of super chats that I don't have to read. Thank you for the $2. $5 from Trib1. OnlyFans isn't more exploitative than streaming platforms. A creator can abuse relationship, but the issue would be the individual, not the platform. I disagree. I think that the sexual nature of OnlyFans and implied sexual nature of OnlyFans makes it inherently more exploitative than
You can say the principle. I think
I'm
no one
saying
has.
the streamer streaming can be exploitative too, by all means,
But
right?
exactly, but this is the issue, right? The idea that something else can also be exploitative is not a counter argument to whether or not OnlyFans
I agree.
is.
I
Okay,
agree.
thank you.
I agree. I think exploit and also the exploitative level, I would rate OnlyFans higher than Twitch, for example. $50 more from DJ Nuts to again put my shirt back on. Thank you for the $50.
You have to put
$5
another sweater on.
from DJ Nuts. The effective strategy to ending a majority of exploitation in porn is banning the sale of porn, not the distribution. $5 from John. It is sexist to center a panel specifically about men on men. Check your privilege at the door. Wild take. Just get married. Content? Question mark. Thank you for the $5. $5 more from DJ Nuts. Man, you were funding my whole career tonight. Having an OnlyFans hair harms your career prospects way more than being a stay-at-home mom, widow, or divorced woman.
Yes.
That's true.
$5 from
Right.
Feder
Agree.
Methodist. Somebody in Kentucky started an OnlyFans competitor named OnlyFams. Thank you for
For
the $5.
family? Sign
That's
up
the
tomorrow.
joke.
Sounds gross.
$20 from Alexander Rin, sorry. Exploitation is a danger whenever the purchased goods are psychological or emotional fulfillment. This is why we heavily scrutinize jobs where those are the main returns. The fix is often regulation, transparency, and oversight. Thank you for the $20. $10 from Eldad. Guys online LARPing the most shallow and instantly gratifying parts of a relationship and whacking it a lot is good practice for having healthy romantic connections with a partner. Thank you for the $10. $5. Wait. Wick unironically saying it's a woman issue and not a streaming or OnlyFan issue. Is Amaranth exploiting her audience more than a man of her size? In different
Absolutely.
ways. I say in different ways. Kid for $5. Remember when we were talking about making that money 6 hours ago? Yeah, I see you. $5 from Tesco Johnson. When a woman breastfeeds, it's nurturing and beautiful, but when I do it as a man, then all of a sudden it's cruel and unusual. Rumble standard. $5 from Feder Methodist.
Are you
breastfeeding-
going through? This is how many people donated.
Yes.
They're
Are
so
you?
famous,
Wick?
dude.
Have you
Yeah,
He
a
Wick?
is
lot of money.
pimping us, bro. Like
Yeah.
hard.
That's
He
fine.
disagrees with
It's me.
OnlyFans,
I'm
but
not
he's
mad
out
about
there
it.
pimping.
Let me finish, though. $5 from Feder Methodist. Breastfeeding scars you for life. I know. Nothing more embarrassing than being a junior in high school and having your mom show up to feed your lunch. Thank you for $5. $2 from DJ Nuts to say, Wix, my Margot Robbie. Thank you.
Hey, yo. Great
$10
compliment.
from Psychonaut. Cohort is right. If he started stripping, all the women would immediately say that he sexually harassed them.
Not true.
No.
I don't think I'm getting sexually harassed. I think you're being weird.
I think
$5.
if he stripped, I think women would probably be okay with it.
We're
Hey,
almost, we're
Penis
almost
out?
there. We
Hey Julie,
Penis
why do you use weird instead of like
Oh,
any other
yeah.
word for describe? Like, okay,
I mean,
You give me flashbacks.
no, I'm
thinking
just
about
saying
high
like
school.
if I so if
I also used that word earlier.
if I was like if I'm on a debate and there's like 100 people somewhere around there watching, I'm talking to you, and all of a sudden I whip
are
my
you
penis
trying to
out.
call
That's
out the
just
fact that
weird.
I'm
That's
retarded
weird,
right
but you're
now?
weird.
Penis? You're ripping your
crazy.
penis out?
It's just weird. Like it's just weird. It's just like
Please don't
odd.
let
It's
you-
He's
odd.
trying to
No,
call out the fact that
that's
I'm
odd.
Use the
retarded.
word weird first.
Okay, $10
That's
or
very
$5. I
strange
started for
behavior.
the Trib. A 1 says, if a woman wears a low-cut top and streams, is it exploitative? How much onus should be put on the consumer? To me, it's the individuals, not the platform. Thank you.
It's like, look what the fuck cohort's
What-
wearing.
but-
If a woman wore that right there, a woman, like, I could change into the exact top, and I'll tell you right now, it's gonna
Okay,
look different.
What are the girls doing
Because you
underneath?
are
That's
different.
the no. Let's talk. What are your girls doing underneath? Are they flopping around? Because that's gonna be the difference. That's gonna be the main
I have
difference
boobs,
immediately.
yes, if that's
Wait,
what
That's
so
what,
whether
that's
or
what I'm
not you
saying.
are
So are they
different,
move?
and
Are they
that is-
bouncing?
Yeah.
They moving around?
That's a weird
This
question.
question
Wanna
should
know that?
actually be
That's
posted
fucking
by
I'm
crazy.
saying
Ryan.
that's gonna
Exactly,
be the difference.
God
That's
damn,
gonna be the
this
difference.
guy
I don't have.
He's got his
I
own
don't have
words
to-
out.
Kidding, those boobies is
I don't have
bouncing.
titties.
Hey,
Laws are
Cody.
uncomfortable.
I don't have
Wants to use
titties.
the F slur but can't.
Hey, $100.
Have you ever worn a bra? Have you ever worn a bra, like to the men in the chat?
I've
We're
never worn a
grown
bra.
ass
Hey,
men.
that's
That shit
crazy.
is
Oh, that's so bad.
uncomfortable, bro. Like,
I
why are you
feel
pressuring
you.
women to wear bras?
I feel you on that, but my counter would be, so you would rather they're just out here. Sometimes they're falling out of the tank top. Sometimes.
I'm a itty bitty titty committee. Okay, I don't got that
Yeah.
problem.
No, I'm
you know?
saying,
like, I don't
just
need to
in-
wear a bra.
So okay, that's fair. I'm saying like in general, because I can empathize with that, right? I might not be able to fully sympathize with it because I don't have that situation, but I can imagine being uncomfortable by something you're wearing. Now my thing is, to whatever extent these standards exist, right? That women feel they're just oppressive, and it's like, why are we even doing this? We're doing this for you men because you guys are saying we have to do it, but we really don't want to, right? We can have that conversation, but don't let it be known
Who
that not
said
every
that?
not every no, I'm just giving an example, but not
It's a
every
choice. It's a choice.
not yeah. So
but if you're not
'cause-
wearing one, it doesn't mean you're being slutty. You're just comfy.
But no one said that.
But is that what
Oh,
men think?
Burkas
Y'all
or
know
it's
that-
exploitation.
Not necessarily.
Wear a bra.
But if
You
I
don't
go
wear
on
a bra, you just
stream,
wear
if I
that.
okay, hold on. If I'm a woman, and I got a couple more super chats, I'll get to it in a second. But this is important. As long as I'm not retarded, okay. If I'm a woman and I go on stream and I purposely, intentionally go braless, I know what I'm doing.
No,
just
that's
know what I'm doing.
so retarded. No,
Holy
that's retarded.
shit.
That's
Necessarily.
uber
That's
retarded. It's uber
Yeah,
so
if you're a part of a
stupid.
community-
retard, Uber.
I actually I
No,
I
so
agree
let me
with
say
Julie
this.
on that one.
The guy doesn't wear
If I'm
boxers,
not,
he's a
I
hoe.
have like no tits. If I wear no bra and I'm in a t-shirt, I'm intentionally braless. I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting here in a fucking
Okay,
t-shirt. If I'm in a
certainly,
low cut top
Julie,
with a
that's not what
push-up
we're
bra,
talking about.
it's very different.
Okay, I understand for you it might not apply, but there are women where it absolutely does.
Okay, I think the new rule is if your titties are small,
because
you're
first of all,
officially a
even with
man
someone
and
with
you don't
huge tits, if they wear a push-up bra, it's gonna look way more sexualized, way more crazier than if they're just in a t-shirt or whatever with a loose top with no fucking bra on. If your nipples are fully hard,
So then,
24/7,
wait.
huge long nipples, maybe. But like,
Yeah, this is the most retarded shit I've ever heard.
Curious that,
And the
wait,
tits look big no matter what. Is that predatory?
No,
Sorry, go ahead. Irrelevant.
that's just crazy.
Irrelevant. Let's listen to irrelevant here. Go ahead.
I'm just curious then. If you have big boobs, then and you don't want to wear a bra on camera, are you just fucked then?
Yeah, that's like stupid.
are
That's
willing
like
to
you know
accept
what
the
you're
idea
doing. You
you're
have big
sexualizing
boobies.
yourself.
But
No
That's
streaming for
crazy.
you.
But you do. But here's the thing. Let's not operate like
Well, I wanna
women
answer
don't.
this
Wait,
question.
no.
understand
To
their
be clear,
sexuality.
yeah, I want Wick to answer. To be clear, I want Wick to
Yeah,
answer.
Good question. I think that you have to understand because of how you are that there are certain expectations that society has for you that might not be placed on other people.
But
now,
to
is that
say
fair?
like you
No.
know what
Is that
you're
fair?
doing is
No, but
crazy.
it's
But
true.
Julie, let me
So
match
people
energy. Well,
people do that. I
wait,
want to say
no.
people do that
I-
to me all the
That
time.
was
Whenever-
a
whenever
dance
I-
around of an
One of
answer.
you, hold on. One of you
Julie,
said
That's
earlier
not a
that
good
like
thing to do,
Let me
though.
match energy.
That's
Oh,
not a good
no,
No,
thing
it's
to
not.
do.
I know. I
Hey,
Let me
agree.
match
I'm just,
energy.
I agree. It's
Let me
not a
match
good thing to do.
energy.
Irrelevant. For the
Lock
record.
in with me. Lock in with me.
No,
for a second.
okay, so no, wait, hold on.
Hold on.
Hold up. Let me respond.
addressing
Let me
me.
respond to that.
Wick.
It's about the fact that you said you know what you're doing. The you know what you're doing is implying that they're intentionally sexualizing themselves. And what I'm saying is, what if you're a woman who has big boobs who doesn't want to sexualize herself, but you don't want to wear a bra? Are you just fucked?
No, I
You are
think if
fucked.
you like a thick enough sweater or other things, that there are ways you can desexualize yourself. Yes.
Maybe
you
consider a
look like-
burqa.
No. Well, no, I'm not talking. So because we're talking about two different things. We're talking about whether or not you can desexualize yourself versus whether or not you quote unquote know what you're doing. Right.
Yeah.
So knowing what you're doing in this context is meaning that again they are doing it intentionally to sexualize themselves. And I don't think that
the
a
idea
woman
is that
with
the
big boobs should
knowledge is
have
so
to-
ubiquitous
One
that you
moment.
would have to know what you're doing.
Exactly.
moment.
You can't escape it.
Well, no. The know what you're doing.
I give you an example.
Right, implies that they are no. The know what you're doing implies that they're doing it intentionally to sexualize themselves. And perpetuating that idea makes it so that way if a woman has big boobs, she has to wear really conservative clothing in order to hide her chest. Otherwise, she's going to get comments like, "Oh, well, you're just sexualizing yourself for viewers and stuff like that," which
But
I don't think is
can
right.
talk for a second.
It's
I
also
think
like
that
well,
if you,
one of
have-
you.
I think
Hold
if
on,
you
lock in.
have,
Can we also
Lock
bring
in.
up the point of like
Someone
Billie
said-
Eilish?
Lock in. Let me cook. Let me cook. Lock
Hold
in.
on. Someone said earlier that even like when you go on stream and you like doll yourself up, like you know what you're doing. Like just because I'm wearing on makeup on stream doesn't mean that I'm like
I don't think
sexualizing
makeup's
myself
the
for
same
viewers.
thing.
Well,
No,
hold on,
literally,
hold on.
but
Lock in.
somebody literally said that earlier.
That was me talking. That was me talking.
Yeah,
You
that's
just-
crazy.
not-
Just because I'm wearing
that's
makeup
not,
on
stop,
Lock in.
stop,
Hold on,
That's
stop.
hold on.
literally
Listen
you
to
said.
what I was
You
saying.
said when you
Stop.
doll yourself
No,
up, you know what you're doing. You literally said that earlier.
That's short. That was shorthand. I was making a larger point. You honed in on. Now you're saying that you think what I meant is you just put eyeliner on and like that's just what I meant. You put eyeliner.
When you say
yourself?
that you
Make
doll
this
yourself
argument
up
for
when
Red
you
Lip
go
I
on
was
stream
making
and it's being exploitative,
I was making a larger. There was a larger example where I was setting aside me streaming, doing gaming, versus a streamer who's going out of their way to create a set and themselves as a part of it that is going to facilitate the parasocial.
Okay, but when you say
possibly
things
slightly
like
sexual
doll yourself
relationship.
up, you know what you're implying when you say it.
Now let me cook.
I thought I did. But
Well, let me
maybe-
finish these
based
super
on this
chats.
But hold on,
and
but
then
hold on,
you
no,
cook.
wait, because we're gonna lose the point though. We're gonna lose the point. Let me cook. I have to say this real fast. Lock in. Listen, I am a 6'1" black man. I know that if I walk behind a white lady, I can very easily scare her. Even though I'm corny. I'm corny as hell. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't
I'll talk
scare
about
me, it's all good.
Digimon randomly, right? I'm very corny. but I know that my size and stature can be intimidating to some women. As such, a lady with big titties also knows that her titties may be flopping around if she's on stream without a bra. With that knowledge, does that mean you have to adhere to desexualization? No, I don't have to
But
walk
you're
any slower,
justifying
but I
stereotyping
do know.
people.
Hold on.
You're
I don't
justifying
have to walk.
stereotyping people, though.
I'm not. What I'm saying is, as a black man, I understand the context, but it is incumbent upon me to either cross the street myself or
I
to
got a
just keep
story
doing
for
what
you.
I'm
I
doing.
got a story for you
Same
guys. I got a
thing
story
for the
for you guys.
lady
I
with
got a
big
story for you
titties.
guys, real quick. It's a real quick story, right? And this is a few years ago, like years ago. Me and the girl I was dating at the time, we were walking down the street in the big city. It was dark. It was late at night, and we saw a large black man approaching us. And I looked, and I saw she clutched her purse, right? Like this shows that like racism. There's like
I
this
would say
kind of
it's not
this.
necessarily racist, but more men. Like
Well,
women are afraid
I
of
asked
men.
her
And that
about
would
it
be
later. I asked her
sexism.
about it
Oh,
later, and she said
mhm.
I knew like intellectually that that man wasn't for sale. Okay, but she still grabbed her purse anyway, because history, purchasing men, things like that. Anyway, but yeah, so there's the story. But okay,
Well, hopefully you guys get
um,
the point I'm making, though. My point is having
well, yeah,
knowledge of how society exists
use
and
you.
treats you
Do you
doesn't
have
mean you have to
enough-
adhere to
It's
it,
like a
but
trauma
you have the
response, though.
Hold on.
knowledge.
Let me put it. And I'll give it to irrelevant in a second. If you
Mhm.
have knowledge that you have certain characteristics about your body that might make people either uncomfortable in certain situations or have a certain effect, do you have a responsibility to take that in mind and act accordingly? And I think to a certain extent you do. But irrelevant. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't disagree with the idea you have to act within certain ways that society understands who you are. The difference here, and with the example given about being a black dude walking near some like white woman, because I've been in a similar scenario, I would never say that because some black dude is walking near a white woman and isn't adhering to like crossing the street or doing these things to make them more safe. I wouldn't say you know what you're doing by not doing that. Like you're intending to intimidate this way. Maybe you just don't give a fuck. Maybe you're just like, hey, fuck it. I'm just gonna walk down the street. I don't give a fuck to cross the street. I don't give a fuck to do any of that. I'm dealing with my own shit. That is the core difference. Is the you know what you're doing type comment. It's not, hey, be
But
aware of how you present yourself in the world. The you know what you're doing, and especially in the context of women presenting in any kind of way that could be
Well, in the
interpreted as
context of
sexual.
streaming
On the like,
specifically. In the
yeah,
context of
sure. Even
turning
in
on your
streaming,
thing where
yeah.
you intentionally set
Hmm.
up everything around you about
Yep.
your thing. You set up your presentation, right? And I do this with intent. I didn't accidentally put that on, right? Like I didn't accidentally set
Correct.
these things
Yeah.
up. I did it with intent, knowing what
Yeah.
I'm doing. So I'm just I think that most people, including women, when they present in certain ways and they set up their scene, and if a big titty woman went braless on stream, again, she has to turn that camera on
When
purpose.
when
She
you're
can't.
streaming, you are the
Yeah,
product and the principle.
but
Yeah.
So you
but to
design
turn on
yourself to be sold.
the knowing what you're doing comment again implies that
Yeah.
they're trying. The reason why they are going braless is to sexualize themselves. And now you can make an argument about whether or not it's likely or more likely. But the example I gave you is fairly palatable. If you're a woman with big boobs, and listen, okay, I don't have big boobs, but based on what I hear, if you have big boobs, wearing a bra all the time gets really fucking annoying because that shit's gotta hang.
It's just like
right,
it's a gross
on your
generalization.
shoulders, right? And so
but
that
go ahead.
you are putting that person in that position where if they want to not wear a bra on stream, they have to like totally none up and
Not necessarily.
dress super
They can
conservatively.
accept what comes with it, though. That's what I'm saying. Like
No.
you don't have to adhere to
Or just
Twitch
change
change
the
the
chat or
fucking
fucking
anything.
camera
Just to
Wait,
switch
angle.
What
services,
comes
right?
with
No,
it,
so
though?
Or
so
just
That's a
change
bad
the
argument,
fucking
bad
camera
argument.
angle so you don't see them at all.
What?
You could
Why
do
would you
that,
wait?
but
Wait,
why?
listen,
Why?
listen,
But
this
listen
built
to
into
all
victim
of
blaming
this.
shit.
Listen to all
No,
of
I
this.
disagree.
If you're a woman who has big boobs and you don't want to wear a bra, you have to adjust all your camera angle.
You
You have
have
to
to
do
do
all this
anything.
shit. Otherwise, no. That's he literally
That's
Well, Wick,
just said
I don't
adjusting
agree
your
with
camera
Wick.
angle
I don't
in
agree with
order
Wick.
to avoid.
Like, that's people
Okay,
pleasing for the
cool.
people
All
that
right.
would get
So you have to do all these things in order to avoid people saying that you are sexualizing yourself for the benefit of
I
the
do
viewers.
get
But it's
that.
very realistic. You might just want to be more comfortable. I think that's a
But you
totally
have to
normal
accept
thing
it.
that these
Can I
people
jump
would
in?
want to do.
Hey, Xerxes, can I jump in real quick? Because I haven't had a chance to like. So, Irrelevant, I just want to confirm something with you. So, because I think we might agree. So people, whenever I stream, or I'm like on camera, right? Some people will assume that I'm wearing, if I'm not wearing like something that is long sleeve, they'll assume I'm wearing whatever I'm wearing to show off my arms. I've had people say that in chat. I've had people message it to me. I've had that happen to me already, and I'm not even on stream that much. Haven't been doing that this long, right? So if they're doing that right now, I wear active wear because it's comfortable. I just wear it all the time, all day, right?
That's why I'm shirtless right
So-
now. Yeah.
This
I
nigga
feel
plays
you,
Marvel
right?
Rivals.
So
in a tank top.
somebody in the chat, I think when I looked to the right, I think I saw somebody make a comment about that, about like, yeah, he's shirtless, dude, or whatever. So it's like, but you're just trying to be comfortable, let's say, right? So
Yeah,
I think
I am.
where we both agree is that it's not right that they're assuming that I'm trying to get glazed or like show off my body. It's not right that they're assuming that you're trying to show off your body. But we recognize that we recognize, or we should or may recognize before we put anything on or you take your shirt off, that is a possible conclusion that will be reached. Is
Right.
that people
But
will
I agree. But
Yeah.
the idea is that the people who are supposed to be critical and understanding of how saying things like you're doing this on purpose,
Yeah.
that those comments perpetuate a specific environment. And I would hope that those would be some of the people inside of this call. And with that in mind, we shouldn't be the people who are perpetuating the idea that if you're a woman with big tits and you don't wear a bra, that
Yeah.
automatically means that you are for sure trying to sexualize yourself to
Yeah.
gain
I'm
more
with you.
viewers.
I'm
And
with you.
maybe
I'm
not
with you.
that,
When
maybe
you
it's
say
not
things-
that you're like me and I just want to be more comfortable. And
So what
if
if she's
people
doing
sexualize
jumping
that shit,
jacks?
then
When you-
then-
when you-
How much?
Okay, well, now that,
Oh
that's
my
all-
god!
that's
Now you're
all-
completely
Yeah.
changing the
So
topic.
That's a completely different
When
thing.
you start jumping jacket, can I not make any assumptions or
No.
inferences?
We can call
That's
out.
stupid.
Can we
no,
say,
listen.
What if I totally
Hold on,
change
hold on.
the scenario
Hold on.
though? Then
When
what?
You can.
When you
Yeah.
say things
What a
like
dumb
as
thing
the
to
only woman
say.
here who can
with
speak on
huge
this.
tits. Sorry.
Go
As
ahead,
the only
Kirby,
woman
Kirby.
who can speak on this, no, yeah, it's sometimes really annoying. So that's it. It's like
But-
I'll wear a ginormous shirt, and people will be like,
Still on
that's why I brought up the point of Billie Eilish. It was like she wore giant shirts like her whole like start of her career, and then like people kept talking about her boobs. They're like,
Yeah.
I bet you her boobs are
And listen,
ginormous,
so
and then
good
it
about
was
it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
fine.
just
Hold on,
when,
let me-
when
let
you
me-
say things like she
Yeah.
knows what she's doing, you're making
Yeah.
making it sound like because she has huge boobs and she's in a t-shirt, she's asking for those comments just because she
Yeah.
wants to wear a t-shirt.
It's not.
It's
Hold on.
it's ridiculous. It's
Let me
ridiculous.
respond. Let me respond, right? Because I think we can. Let's say we can build a bridge here, right?
I still
We
got
can accept that. I'm sorry. We can accept though that necessarily it may not be the case that a woman with big titties is doing so because she knows she wants with intent to get that.
She can
sexual
expect
attention. We
those
can
comments
accept
without
that, right?
asking for them.
However, exactly. That's the literal. She does know this will occur. Much in the same way I know.
It
what
doesn't
could
mean she's
occur
asking
because
for
I'm
them.
saying-
When she
And-
says she
and I
knows what
accept
she's
that.
doing, it implies that she's asking for it.
And that's why I said let's build a bridge, right? Because we can accept the two things, right? That one, perhaps she doesn't need
I want to be
sexual
clear.
attention. She just
I
has
don't
big
think
titties.
that even if I
But
don't think it's okay to harass, sexually
Yeah.
assault, or even make unwanted sexual comments when a woman says, "Hey, I don't want this," right? However, if I go into a stream and I see a woman and
With
she's
no bra,
got,
you're like,
Do you type in chat? I can see your nipples.
no, but hold on. But this
let
one
me
got to walk in.
finish my statement. Let me
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
my statement.
Go
I
ahead,
do
go
not
ahead.
think a man or a woman, in any case.
Mm.
Well, let's use this. If cohort, right, had his shirt. Well, I'll use me as an example. My shirt is off. I have cake covered on my face and my
Yo.
things. I don't think it's untowards if someone in my chat made a comment about that.
Are you
I would
comparing
accept
huge
it.
tits to cake
But
on
listen,
your chest?
but hold on. Hold on. Can we build a bridge? Can we build a bridge that having
Wolf
the
of
knowledge?
Mandalore for $50, but go ahead.
So can we build a bridge that having the knowledge is not the same as wanting the sexual attention? Can we agree that
Yeah,
the shitty
I
comments
think
may
it's the way
come?
that you phrase
and
things
then
and
we-
word things and the way that you
Yeah,
imply
no,
things.
Well, I
that's good.
didn't,
I
but
think
You
that-
say
that's
you
that
know
was
what
my
the
she's
argument is
doing,
about.
it
That's what the
implies
argument
that
is
she's
about.
asking for it.
So can we build a bridge though? Can we now understand that
I
like,
don't think
knowledge
there
of
was.
such,
Yeah, there was
doesn't
never a
mean-
misunderstanding. Yeah, there was never a misunderstanding about whether or not they know that they're going to
Okay.
be met with those comments. There's no woman who goes on who, in general, who has big titties, bras or not, are not going to be met with comments of like, oh, you know what you're doing, stuff like that. Women know that they're going to be met with that, and they know the reality of those things. The
Okay.
issue was you know what you're doing. because when you make comments like that, it implies that they're doing it with intent
Yeah.
to sexualize themselves.
But
That's
what if
the
some of
issue.
them are? Can you accept that some of them do?
Yeah, of course. Some of of course,
Sure,
I
some
can
of them are,
recognize
but
that
you
some
can't
of
put
them
it
do.
on
Bad
every
argument.
woman. That's fucking insane.
Again, back to the very first thing that I said when this came up. It's a pretty fucked scenario to put women with big tits in, where they have to wear a
And
bra
I think that's our
24/7.
discrepancy.
Otherwise,
So my
they
discrepancy,
quote unquote know what they're doing.
but this is my discrepancy. I think they have to eat that. They have to man up, quote unquote. They have to accept this is the world you live in currently. You can bring it up, you can talk about it, but much in the same way, I have to accept that I can be intimidating.
No.
People are gonna
It's
people are gonna be
No.
sexualized.
you're
right?
okay. Now
crazy.
you're getting mixed up on the previous thing there as well. But also, even with
It's a
that
ridiculous
specific,
sentiment. I go
the-
to the office every day, and like you're saying, because I have bigger tits, like I have to man up if they're sexualizing me in the office. That's fucking
Yeah.
insane.
As opposed to what? Are they supposed to just
As
not
opposed
think
to
you're a
not being
sexual person?
sexualized, you
They're just
fucking
supposed to
weirdo.
just turn it off. They're just gonna turn it off.
Mean.
Oh,
Oh
you're not
my God.
attractive
You see, I
anymore.
think
My
it-
bad.
like,
What you're
it-
saying
no,
Well, you
the
have to-
idea would be to control
It
yourself
Hold
when
on.
you said it.
defends It
Most-
defends
I
No,
think,
it's
I
just
think,
hold
I
on,
think,
hold
I
on.
think Xerxes should
That is
clarify what he means
insane.
by sexualized, because I know him personally. I know he does not mean they should walk up to you and be like, "Oh my god," like, you know what I'm
No
saying?
shit. Yeah.
Because that's not what he means. He doesn't mean
No.
It's
sexually
not
harass
her
you.
job.
what he's describing right now, it seems like he's pro OnlyFans. That's what it
No,
is
not.
crazy to me.
No. What
That like I should go into the office. I'm wearing what I'm wearing. I wore this to the office
Mhm.
today, and so I should walk up and people are sexualizing me.
I think
Alrighty.
people should
Wait,
wear
so
a bra
it-
into
The,
their
the
office.
thing is,
Women should wear
you're an
bras to the
attractive
office.
person.
Is that
Like-
hold on? Is that an insane take? That if you're going to your workplace in an office, as long as it's not
But
like
even
a
if you wear a
I
bra
don't
to the
think anyone
office and
disagrees
you
with
get
that.
sexualized, is it still
You
on
should wear a
her?
bra.
Yeah, but no one would
right
disagree
now.
with that. No,
But,
yeah.
but
let's talk
you
again.
guys are
But
but you
that's not
guys
what
are
you're
making the
talking about.
argument that if she doesn't wear the bra, it's on her. What if she wears a bra and she still gets sexualized? Is it still on her just
Wait,
because she has
sport
bigger
bra,
tits?
sport
Like this
bra.
is
No,
insane.
I'm saying you have to accept the reality of the world you live in. That's
That
what
comes
I'm
back to
saying.
that
You
is-
have
No,
to
no.
So she
accept
has to accept
that
that she's
what
gonna get treated
comes
like
with-
shit because you can't control
Wait,
yourself?
Well,
What the
you're-
fuck is
you're-
this?
hold on. A
This
lack
is
of
insane.
control and sexualization are not the same thing. I don't understand why we keep doing this. He can't
We're gonna
control
get
himself.
sued, dude.
There are plenty of people that have a sexual attraction and they come respectfully, or they don't even come at all.
But
So
you
it's
guys
not
are making
the-
the
it's
argument
not
that
the
if she's
case
not wearing
that
a
it's
bra,
this
it's her
or that.
problem.
It's a very
What I'm
basic
saying,
issue.
being
There's
What if she wears a bra and
attractive-
gets treated the
I can't even
same?
call- I can't even call that a
Not
problem.
all
Still
relevant
her
options,
Okay,
though,
okay,
they have-
okay.
they have something to say.
Irrelevant, get in here. Irrelevant, get in here. Then I'm going to read these.
Okay, there's very simple. This is two separate issues. Whether or not, so I'll just bring it to the example that we brought up earlier with being like a black dude, understanding that we might intimidate people around us. We can understand that we will have that effect, but we can also argue that it ought not be that way, that just because I'm a 6 foot tall black man, I intimidate every white woman around me. And that I would expect people to normalize the idea, I'm not going to fucking assault you just because I'm a black guy in your presence. The same way that we would do the same thing with like a woman with big titties. You could say that, yeah, she should understand that this is going to happen, but that doesn't mean that she should be okay with it because it's not justified. Your argument is that it's justified that she is experiencing these kinds of comments or this treatment inside of the workplace. Because if it was unjustified, you would say, yeah, you're right for complaining about it. You have to accept the idea that you can't change something overnight, but you don't have to be I okay with it because it's unjustified.
So
You're just arguing it's
what would
justified.
the-
It's
what's
not
the treatment,
justified.
though?
Dude.
What's the
Hold on,
treatment?
hold
You
on.
said this kind of treatment. I want to know from Xerxes, like, what is your, when you say sexualized, I want to make sure
One
it's
day.
also what they mean when they
That's
say
exactly what I
sexualized.
need to like. Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
I was about to ask. 100%. Because what I don't understand is the demonization of male sexuality, or the assumption that male sexuality is
You
predatory.
told me
There's
that
a
my
huge
face
implication.
alone
No,
is
no, no.
sexual, feminine
What I'm
enough
saying
for
is
you to
you're
sexualize
attractive.
me.
You're an attractive person. You can't divorce the fact that you are attractive.
So
from
is
your
it
existence.
so
Can
is
I
it
work?
acceptable for you
Can I
to
be
treat her
on-
like that in a workplace and shit, or like even on a panel?
No,
You
so
make
listen,
comments
no,
towards her?
Someone
no,
is
no one
different
said
than what
This
you
is
that.
said.
insane.
No.
You
Okay,
can
let me
people
answer
have
your
to.
question.
different than what you
People,
said, though.
people
Now answer
have
your
to
question.
go. People have to go, so I have to give them an out, and I have
Mhm.
to read these last super chats. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna read these super chats. We're gonna closings. If you want to stay, you may. If you don't, I understand. $100 from DJ Nuts. This Deej Nuts. He's correcting my pronunciation.
Nuts.
Damn, I honestly didn't think they'd be honest. Also, it's Deej Nuts. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I hope I am. Thank you for the $100. $2 from the Trib One. So in summary, it's a woman sexualization problem. And then $2 more from Trib One says Wick knows what he's doing with that beard. Yes, I know what I'm doing with the outfit that I'm wearing on stream. I do. And I do
The way
it
you cut your beard, Wick, it's really provocative. So I can't handle it.
we're training you, okay? We men have to exist in a situation where they have to control themselves, whether they're turned on or not. And I think women should have to face the same scenarios, okay? Women, you have to control yourselves, okay? You can't just be going up and making comments just because you're feeling certain ways. It's not okay. Okay, with that,
I
closing
apologize.
statements, and then we'll get to things. So tell people who you are, where they can find you, and what your closing thoughts on. And we're gonna start with Julie, and we're gonna end with Xerxes. Irrelevant. We're gonna you hopped on, right? So yeah.
Closing statement.
Mm-hmm.
We should exploit men more. And I'm Julie.
Sad Kit Kat. You can find her at facebook.com Sad Kit Kat. All the links are in my YouTube description. Go check them out.
If you want to exploit men with me.
Cassie Catnip. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Cassie Catnip. This is my safe for work name. I like to separate them because I don't actually want to be sexualized when I'm streaming under this name. I do talk about those topics, but it's a different thing. Final thoughts being on the topic whether or not the girlfriend experience or OnlyFans in general is exploitative. I think it depends on the situation, and I think that we're kind of seeing like a pendulum shift. People are exploitative with OnlyFans, but we have many years of patriarchy that led to this kind of pendulum swing, in my opinion. That being said, I think OnlyFans and content creation, porn can all be done in ethical ways, and we should have more conversations about the unethical ways that those are being done to rebalance the pendulum from swinging again.
Okay, thanks. And you can find her link in my comments. Click on it. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. We're going to get to Often Topical. Go ahead.
Yeah, Often Topical. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter under the same name. At the end of the day, I think my big takeaway with this is, yes, obviously, any kind of social interaction for money is going to be exploitative on its face. The question is whether or not it's a problem, and whether or not something should be done about it. So, we don't penalize the many for the mistakes of the few, and I don't think that we should start doing that now. Are there people who interact with these things in unhealthy ways? Of course there are, just like there are for anything else. It doesn't mean that anything needs to be done about it. It doesn't mean it needs to go away, or that it's a serious fundamental issue that's harming society any more than anything else is. You don't watch Hassan instead of CNN because it's just, you could do either or and you just pick one or the other. You do it because you have a personal connection that you can get to a streamer that does your news rather than what you can do watching local news. And it's the exact same here. And yeah, that's pretty much my final takes on that.
Okay, thank you for being here. Cohort.
Yeah, I think OnlyFans, the girlfriend experience, porn, and all similar things are a net negative to the sexual development and mental stimulation of all people involved, not just men. And furthermore, I think the idea that that men are engaging with these services simply to scratch a mundane itch, the same way you would take a car to a mechanic, or the same way you would go to the grocery store to get something you ran out of, I think is very foolish. I don't think the data bears that out in terms of how these things affect the mind, and I don't think anecdotally that makes any sense either. Um, but where I will build a bridge is that some of the other topics we touched on regarding women feeling comfortable with being able to get on a camera, for example, dress, the bra thing came up or whatever, right? And not having it assumed that they are trying to do the same thing that maybe another woman is very explicitly trying to do in terms of creating a sexual atmosphere, right? I agree with that. I don't think that every woman that's on camera and that maybe is, I don't know, she has a larger breast or whatever, right, should be assumed that she's trying to funnel that kind of audience, right? That's not fair. So I do agree with that. And yeah, if you want to find me, Cohort on YouTube. That's COHXRT. There's not much there right now, but there will be in the future. Thanks for having me, Wick.
Oh, thanks for being here. Did we get Kirby yet?
No.
Kirby.
Time.
Where
Can I end it there?
Okay,
This is
great,
stupid.
wonderful.
I think this whole argument is really stupid. I mean, I'm gonna probably talk about the point, my original point, that it's all about capitalism. I think it's really dumb that we would want to set restrictions on OnlyFans models. The people who started the company are males. Like, if we want to go back and forth about male, female, like advantages, blah blah, it's dumb. It's dumb. To the original point, it's like males, especially like founders, board of directors, everything is all predominantly males. Sure, you have OnlyFans models that are making a lot of money, but you also, like, it's a very back and forth. Like I said, I saw 43% of users or subscribers are still females. So, like, it's stupid. This whole argument is just, to me, is stupid. Okay, my name's Kurt Fiend. I don't stream,
W.
but
Where's
W.
Walter's is on my stream? Come my stream.
Okay. Thanks for being here. You're great. I appreciate you. Last but not least, Cersei. And cohort, can you send me a link to your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I got you. Got you, brother.
It would appear that turns out everyone actually agrees that there is some degree of exploitation going on here. They try to create degrees of separation, but not a counter argument that makes. Which means we all understand that there's some issue going on. Some might say it's capitalism. Other might say there's no difference specifically here, right? But I think that's ridiculous. I don't accept the premise that because we live in a capitalistic system, that it even means that every company or even the individuals within it are exploiting each other. I think to exploit means to take advantage of a weakness or a deficit an individual has. You don't have to do that because you are a capitalist. That's nonsensical to me. The idea that there isn't something different about forming a pseudo or faux sexual relationship with an individual who is providing you with pornography, or a girlfriend experience with which is a created experience of trying to have or emulate a relationship with a woman because you can't actually experience that, is definitely a folly. Granted, are other things folly? Sure, but today's conversation was about OnlyFans, and I think that honestly, no one could really even refute that. I think we spent a long time dancing around that, but in the end, I am correct. You just have to accept that. So, my name is Bass FZZ on YouTube. You guys can call me Zers on channel, off channel, doesn't matter. You can also find me on Twitter, Bass FZZ.
Okay, gang,
That's
if
it.
you need to go, get out of here. I understand.
All
And
right.
Irrelevant.
Thanks,
answer
everybody.
your damn DMs. Okay, I DM'd you something, and you said you wanted